We're live.
Hey y'all, I hope you can hear me.
Yes. Let us know in the chat if you cannot. Look, if your home country is not serving you, if your home country is making you feel unsafe, if your home country is taking away your rights, right? If your home country is not making healthcare available and affordable, right? Hello. If your home country is in the process of maybe a civil a civil war,
Civil unrest. How about that?
you might want to think about changing where you live. And this is no joke because y'all know we are from the United States. And even though we are hoping and praying and already voted for Kamala Harris to become the next president of the United States, that does not guarantee that the folks, the oligarchy, and everyone else who would like to just have 3, 4, 5 people at the top making all the monies, right? And all of us unwashed down there below, like, right? That does not guarantee that that is not going to persist, all right? And so I'm saying that to say that, when it's time to go, it's time to go.
Time to go.
That does not mean that you don't vote. That does not mean that you lose your rights in the United States. But when it's time to go, look, when it's time to go,
It means have a plan.
thank you.
Have a plan. Have an
Thank you.
option.
Thank you.
To do other things.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
You need that. We all need that.
And, I actually think that it needs to be compulsory that every high school student does at least one semester as an exchange student abroad.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what a different country we would have if that were the case, because we would not be brainwashed into thinking that only good stuff happens in the United States.
Yeah.
Or your home country, because I'm sure there's a lot of countries feeding you that propaganda, right? That is dangerous everywhere else, right? That folks who live in other countries are not as bright, not as smart, not as ingenious, not all of these things that we were not told, but it was implied. It was implied with American exceptionalism and stuff like that. And there are some exceptional parts of America.
And the funny thing is, most of these other countries have a whole lot going on that America maybe needs to take a look at.
That part. I still
real.
don't like this the way this is set up. It's not centered. Okay, that's
Well,
weird.
you get it how you want to, boo.
Thank you, babe. All right. So I say all that to say we have got a special guest for you, and we have got some questions that you need to ask yourself to see if this is the move for you, because I've already laid out what you should be thinking about. I've already laid out why you should even be considering this. And if you're watching our channel for the first time, then hey, y'all, my name's Halisi.
I'm Rick. Welcome to Our Black Utopia.
On our channel, we talk about travel, we talk about money, we talk about retiring abroad as we build generational wealth. We help folks who look like us, who are getting close to retirement age and forgot to plan, get their money straight so that they can retire on time or maybe even early.
Early is a very good thing.
Yes. So who are our special guests today?
So our special guests today are I call them the two super soul sisters. And they are like sisters to me. I love them to death. They are family. Stephanie Perry and Rashida Dow.
Yes.
Founders of the
Exodus Summit, y'all.
Exodus Summit.
Which I will be speaking at in October. So it's just a couple of weeks away. You need to get your tickets. The information is in the description below. I will put it in the chat. But first, if you are new to our channel, then you might not know about I don't know. I'm not counting the years anymore.
It was a while ago.
It was 2018. It was 2018. We looked at our money. We had this crazy meeting with a so-called financial advisor. We looked at our money and it looked crazy.
I'm saying crazy under my mask, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Action VJ. But About 3.5, 4 years ago, we got our financial act together and we went from negative 22,000 to over 1.1 million in net worth. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, please subscribe. We have more information about these topics. Subscribe. We know 50% of you who are watching our channel right now are not subscribed.
Y'all need to be subscribed.
You got commitment issues? What's going on, boo?
Come on,
what's
now.
going on?
We won't hurt you.
Hit that notification bell, and so that you know every single time that we go live. And then, of course, Action VJ is going to tell you to hit that like button as you come in. And I agree. Just hit that like button. All right, y'all. We are going to bring our special guest up to the stage. Here we go. Hey, y'all.
Hey.
We are so happy you are here. Look, Rashida and Stephanie, this is what, your second or third time on our channel?
At least, what is the number? I think more like 3. I would go with 3.
I think it's 3, because us being on your channels and you're being on our channels, and it starts to get mushy after a while. But I remember, okay, so before we get started, I'm just going to say some dish.
Okay.
When I finally got asked to be on Stephanie Perry's show, like, you would have thought I was about to be on the stage with Beyonce. That's how I was acting.
She was.
All you got, listen, you know my email address. All you had to do was say, hey, can I be your guest on Saturday? That's how it works, right? Waiting on me.
Right. And I did. And I know that you don't be checking all your emails. So, I was like, okay, I'm gonna wait a little bit longer. But what she said, so if you would like to be on Our Black Utopia and you believe you've got a story that our audience wants to hear, hit us up. hello@ourblackutopia.com. All right. So why don't you two introduce yourselves and then we will get started.
Friends, my name is Stephanie Perry. I am from exotic Dover, Delaware, but I've been traveling full-time since 2015. I just passed my 9th year out of the United States. Ninth year out of the U.S. I've been spending lately half the year in San Jose, Costa Rica. So that is it is a place that is becoming home, but I haven't done the official paperwork yet, okay? But I am I'm a woman who has seen her whole life change by changing my location. Changing my location changed me for the better. I should say that part. And I'm glad to be here again.
Yes, and we're glad to have you.
Thank you.
Ms. Dow.
Hello. I'm Rashida. I live in Mexico. This is my 6th year outside of the U.S. I have a doggy guest today. Ooh, want to say hi? They were outside. Now that they're inside, they're not barking anymore.
Okay.
That's not a black dog. That dog tried to kiss you in the mouth. That is not a black dog.
Yeah, black dogs don't kiss you in the mouth.
No, they don't.
It's a black dog. It's a black baby.
Yes,
she's a baby.
She's still a baby. We'll see
black
if he's older. If she learns. Oh, that's a he. If he learns.
The other one.
Yeah, that's the girl. That's the girl. Why do I know these dogs? Because these are one of my good friends' dogs. That's how I know. Mm-hmm. That's how I know. And, so this is the thing. Okay, we got to get on topic, but I just have to say this. I know Angela and Lamar because of you two.
That's right.
Right?
We take the credit for y'all's friendship. Don't get it twisted. We totally take the credit for y'all being friends, for you having another couple out in this world that y'all, move through the world through, celebrate with, spend time with. Absolutely, we take the credit.
Yes.
And since you don't want to be couple friends with us, we're glad you found another couple friend.
Okay, because Rashida's got to talk crap. If she ain't talking trash, she ain't happy. I'm just letting y'all know.
Y'all brought a partner for me. We could be couple friends.
Yeah.
Bring one for me, bring one for Stephanie.
I don't see anybody taking notes.
Nobody.
Look, I'm thinking about the single people that I know who are here. There are single men here. But they've got to be at a certain caliber. They got to be at a certain caliber, right? If I'm going to suggest them, right? Because I'm not. I'm not
All right.
gonna.
Oh yeah, they can't come half stepping.
No,
Now,
talking about where's the food bags.
Yeah,
now,
yeah, they
ladies,
can't come half
you
stepping.
heard Stephanie and Rashida at the top of the line for the Rick and Halisi
Matchmaking service.
Oh,
for,
yeah.
for the marathon. We are at the top. So don't be trying to skip the line. Even if
Don't be
you're
trying
there
to
in
get it.
Lisbon,
See,
don't
you
skip
guys
the
are
line.
making me laugh, and now my mascara is running. All right, I don't want to be like Tammy Baker. Let's see who is in the audience today. Hey, CK from San Jose. CK from San Jose. And of course, Action VJ. It was good seeing you yesterday. Eileen Brown. Valerina is
Hey,
in the
Valerina.
house. Good evening, OBU. Hello, Allison.
Allison.
Hello, OBU family. Y'all were in the chat early today. Hey, Action VJ, get it in. Hi, fam. We have the trifecta today. That's right.
Hey, Greta.
Look, there is actually a fourfecta. Is that a word?
No.
Sure.
It'll
I
work.
just made it up
Okay.
because Adelia is part of it. Adelia is part of it, right, K. Renee? Adelia is part of it. Good day, Utopian.
It is Libra season.
It is Libra season because it was his birthday.
Oh,
It
happy birthday.
He was sick on his
I
birthday.
couldn't do anything. I was sick.
It's
Yeah,
not over. It's not over. I don't think
I think for the whole month, like
Ain't
for
no
30
deadline.
days, we're
Ain't no
going to
deadline.
celebrate, right? We're going to celebrate. We are going to celebrate. So she's house sitting in Redwood City.
Good.
All right,
All
Pinky. All right, Pinky. Hey, Vanessa. I am Karen Louise is in the house. Greetings, and blessings from Cali. I know where you are, Karen Louise, so I'm just going to say it. Hey, Gabby. Tanya's in the house. Shadora. Vicky G. Oh, Stephanie's in the house. Look. Hi. Bye, Pacific Northwest. Hey, girl. How you doing? Janetta. Oh, this looks like a new name.
That definitely looks like a new name.
Greetings from Atlanta.
The
All right.
Area.
What y'all doing in Georgia? Y'all need to get that
The
election board under
election
control.
board under control because they are totally out of control.
You know, my sister's there, my stepmother's there. I got family there. We need your help. Is it Cali? Calic J. Welcome.
CJ.
It could be Calic
I or
CJ.
L.
That's an I. See these old eyes. Look. Hey, Teresa. Teresa's in the house. We got Tracy. Wanderlust Souls. I love it. Hello. Who else is in the house? We got Rob. We've got Nichelle. We've got Gregory and Yari. Pisces Pratt.
Killer Queen.
Rashida's in the house. Killer Queen is in the house. Thank you. We love you guys so much. And we thank you all for being here, being with us. And we are going to have a dynamic conversation today. So I always like to go why and then what. So why did you decide, Stephanie, because it's been 9 years for you, so we'll start with you. Why did you decide that living outside the United States was better for you?
I got a little taste of a few different countries in a short period of time. In 1 year, I traveled to 12 countries. And nobody did things like they do it in the US. I didn't go anywhere where people identified themselves by the work that they do or where work bled over and was their identity. I didn't go any place where I saw people like trying to fit in other things around work, where work was the sun in their solar system. And then the other stuff was just, maybe I get to do this and maybe I don't. And once I got a little taste of it, I was like, I'm not going back. And just when you change, right? So that changed me because I was a person who identified myself by the work that I did, even though I really didn't like it all that much. But still the work was important enough that I didn't have a life. Right. And so once I changed and I was like, okay, so now I live a full life. And I no longer identify as a worker first. I can't live in the United States. I can't live there. It's not going to work. They're not going to let me. Every time you go back to the US, no matter how long you've been out, you get pulled back into the trap of being a worker, the trap of being a consumer and being like consumed by consumerism, right? The trap of Black excellence, the trap of having to do so much more because you're a Black person and you're a Black woman. And I was like, I don't want to live like that. I can't go back to being that old person. And for me, that meant I couldn't go back to the old country.
Yeah. The trap of Black excellence. I want to come back to that. But first, I want to hear your whys, Rashida.
I had spent a year traveling around the world, and like Stephanie, it opened my eyes a lot. And my plan when I left, I was living in the Bay Area. My plan was to come back to the Bay Area. I already knew I didn't want a job. Like after it was a year traveling, so by like 3 months without working, I was like, I don't want a job. 6 months without working, and I was like, oh no, I can't have a job. When it was time for me to figure out what was next, I didn't know what was next, but I knew I had no interest in working as hard as I was going to have to work to afford to live in the Bay Area, even if it was for myself. I am not that interested in building something, in building wealth, right? In anything. I'm not interested in doing anything enough as it would take to live in the Bay Area. So I was like, I didn't really want to live anywhere else in the US. I love Mexico City. Why not? So truly, a version of laziness is my why, right? My version of laziness of like, no, I'm tired. I don't want. When I was living in the Bay Area, I was killing myself working to pay rent.
Uh,
Right? It wasn't like I was accumulating all this money and I was using it on all these things, or like I wasn't paying for my kids to go to it was just rent. Right? Why? And so yeah, that was my why. It was like I'm not interested in working as hard as I would have to work, even if it was doing something, not working a job, but doing something for myself, or even working at something I loved. Work is still like, you can love your work. It's still work. It's still time when you're not napping. It's still time when you're not frolicking outside in a field or traipsing through an art museum,
Yeah.
like it's still you still got to be at a computer or somewhere else. I wasn't into it.
Yeah, I think I'm unemployable at this point.
Mhm.
And I have to push back because I don't think it's laziness. They wear you the F out
Mhm.
in them jobs, and it's like, they melanin challenge people, that are racist want to say lazy, but no,
So
we are the hardest working people in America. I'm
when
sorry.
I say laziness, it doesn't have a negative connotation for me, right? It's not the way someone else might say lazy. Lazy for me is like recognizing that, like, no, I don't have to, and so I'm not going to, right? Like
Right.
it's that, like, no, like I understand that everybody else wants to work. I'm not interested in
Right.
that. It's a very like neutral lazy. It's not a
Yeah.
negative lazy.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. No, thank you.
No, thank you.
And I remember right after the vaccinations, I'm not going to say after COVID was over, but we went to Cancun,
Mhm.
and this is like 2020. So, and y'all know I worked in politics, right? So we're getting ready for the 2020 election. The coordinated campaign has already started. For those of you who were on my talk yesterday, you know what I'm talking about. And I was like, I need a break before it starts getting really, really heavy.
Yeah.
So, like May, June, or something, we went to Cancun, and because COVID, for like $66 a night, we were like beachside condo.
Living large.
We were living large.
Living large.
When you guys had your meetup, and I wanted to see if that condo was still available, it was like triple the price. I was
Right,
like,
right.
oh, okay, you don't want me there anymore. You don't want me there anymore. But in any event, I remember when it was time to go home, and I just started crying. Right? Like I was like, I don't want to go. And it wasn't that I wanted to necessarily stay in Cancun longer, because it's very touristy, and that's not my vibe. It was the first time for me, so it was nice. The first time, but I'm good. I don't need to go back. I don't need to go back. But I certainly don't want to go back to that.
Right.
right? And so now, like we were in Belgium, I was like, okay, is it time to go home yet?
Mm.
It's time to go home, right? Like
Yeah.
I don't get upset when the vacation's over, when the so-called vacation is over anymore,
Mm-mm.
right?
Right. It's wonderful to have a life that you are excited about and the life. So we still like to take vacations. So it's not a life that you don't want to take vacations from. We still want to take vacations, but it's a life that we're excited to come back to. I like the way you said that. We sometimes
Yeah.
people say it's have a life you don't need to take a vacation from. But I think that's a better way of saying it. Have a life that you're excited to come back to, even when you do take vacations.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's possible, right? But a
It's
lot of
possible,
people haven't
folks.
had a chance to live that. I know
Yes,
I did.
it's possible, folks. Okay, so before we get into the what's, expound for the audience the trap of Black excellence.
Ugh. Black excellence is Black excellence is having to be the best, not having an option to try to fail, not having an option to be lazy, not having an option to do as little as possible. It's all having to do everything on level 10,000 when other people get to operate on level 5 or 6, right? The trap is that we have to keep achieving and striving and doing and not find a place of peace and satisfaction. The trap is that we have to be looked at up. Other people on the outside have to look at us and say, you're worthy. The trap of Black excellence is that someone else's opinion of you is more important than your opinion of yourself. Whether it's white people, Black excellence is for the gaze of white people, but it's also for the gaze of some Black people, right?
Mhm.
We want other people to look at us and say, you're worthy. You're one of the ones up here. It doesn't matter what you want for yourself. You have to be a credit to your race, right? You can't be an everyday person.
Mhm.
You can't be a person who's searching and seeking. You have to already know. You can't be a person who's trying and experimenting. You have to already be excellent. It's going to kill each and every one of us. It's going to there's no you're not going to win at Black excellence, right? Even Miss Black Excellence, Halisi was Miss Black Excellence, right? It was there was no was there going to be some coronation, right? Was there going to be some crowning ceremony?
Mhm.
No. It's now more.
Mhm.
Now more. Now give more. Now suppress your own wants and desires more. Now be better received by other people. There's no victory. There's no win. It's a trap.
Yeah.
The part that I focus on in that is that no matter how you define Black excellence, if it's something you want or something you value, there's never an end in sight, right? If you want the best job in your company, when you're the CEO, you're going to want to be the CEO of a bigger company or a better company, right? Like there's never, if you want to be like, you know, in all of the Black, so like, you know, private clubs and social circles, there's always another level. There's always another something else, an inner circle. And so it's spending your entire life in the striving mode
Yes.
and never in the enjoying slash being slash this is enough, right? Americans aren't taught to ever say, this is enough. Where I am, I'm fine here, enough. Which is why we got 84-month car loans or
Yeah.
$1,000 a month, right? Like,
Have y'all seen what's happening with the car loan?
Yeah, it's
Look,
crazy.
we just talked to a couple who was in our first Beyond the Bling financial course
Mhm.
for late bloomers. Why did they, and who want to move abroad? Why did they just buy, like, okay, got in a car accident, car got totaled. Why they just buy a new car, brand new car off the lot, not from a car broker, not a used car, brand new car off the lot, and with the insurance and everything else, they are paying $1,000 a month. $1,000 a month with a 6 or 7 year loan.
Yeah.
I was dating a guy fresh out of law school. I moved into an $84,000 house. He moved into a 5-bedroom house, different states, but pretty much similar cost of living. He bought himself in 2006, bought himself a $1,000 a month car. And I was like,
What was that?
I think
Like a 300,000 Mercedes or some
It was
shit?
a 5 Series BMW, if I remember correctly, and I don't know, and that wasn't with insurance. I don't know what bells and whistles he had. I want to ask him about it. He's like, well, I always told myself when I bought a new car, it was going to be like the biggest in the best. And I was like, see, this is why we would never work out. Like we broke up years ago, but and we're just catching up. But this is a good sign that my mortgage is significant. It's like half the price of your car.
Right.
What's happening?
Yeah.
You are going to be working for the rest of your life because now it can't be just that BMW. It's got to be the highest BMW. Then it's got to be a Rolls or a Bentley or Ferrari or whatever.
The house has to get bigger.
Two. Then you need 2. Okay, you got the 2, right? Where's the Sunday car?
Right.
And it's a nice life if you can get it. And by that, I mean, if someone were to hand me the house and the car, great. But if I have to continuously work to maintain it, the auto parts and the labor and the gas and the insurance, I love cars. But I don't want to pay for them. I love houses. That should be somebody else's money and not a loan, like a grant.
I love it.
Yeah.
Stephanie knows that somebody's going to give her a hotel.
Yeah.
Stephanie knows this for
I thought it was a yacht.
No, the hotel is for Exodus Summit sabbatical.
I'm okay paying for the yacht. I'm okay with in the future. I'm okay with future Stephanie paying for the yacht. But I think that somebody's going to give us a hotel or motel for sabbatical space.
I think someone's going to give me a home because I deserve a second home. Uh-huh. And I deserve a second home not because I'm special, but because I want one, and I deserve what I want.
Well, we're standing for a building. We want a building.
Okay. Listen, and will that building have some condos available that you could just give away to a good friend of yours?
Well, first, we got to see what happens, because if Putin starts getting stupid, there's not going to be a building here. Like, wow. I got to remain nimble.
Okay.
Good.
Watch out, right?
Like, what do you say? Start getting stupid, like.
Well, he can get stupider.
Yes,
is that a word?
Yes.
He can get stupider.
Very
right?
true.
Yeah, if other people get in office.
Exactly. He can get stupider. So he's kind of being contained right now. But look, and that we're trying to tell you, people of color, we do have options. We do not have to get, I remember, I will never forget this. The Kuwaiti guy, when I was a freshman in college, referred to World War II as the European tribal wars. That's how he learned about them. We do not have to get involved in these European tribal wars. I do not want war. I do not want my Portuguese brothers and sisters to be caught up in that, but I have no control.
That's why we moved to Costa Rica.
That has no military. No military.
But how, we may not want to get caught up in the tribal wars, but how will we maintain the empire if America doesn't have its hands in everything? If we're not constantly trying to destabilize other countries, how could we be the best? How? What would we do?
Questions.
We have to touch all the things.
These are questions. And have you guys thought about, if it goes sideways and the devaluation of the dollar, which has already started, what you plan to do with your money?
Rashida and I talked about this the other day. I thought I was going to buy gold coins. She told me, no, that doesn't make sense. Rashida and Adelia, they know money. I don't know money. I do what they do. I just follow behind them, right? So I thought I was going to buy gold coins and that was going to be it. But they said, who's going to buy the gold coins if the dollar is right? So,
like when you need that money, when you need the actual cash.
Right.
So I've got a cousin who is heavily invested in gold. He's heavily invested in the stock market and real estate as well.
Yeah.
but he owns a gold store and he
Mm.
collects gold.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, yeah, diversify.
Yeah,
You
that
know?
was his whole thing is gold.
Yeah.
Invest in gold, invest in gold,
But it's
invest in
like,
gold.
but how do you, like, where do you keep it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're small. Gold, like $2,000 of gold is this. It's a coin. It's a coin. It's the size of a quarter, right? So $200,000 of gold, you can carry that in your pocket.
Right. But how many
Well, I
things
need more
do
than
you
that.
have? How many things do you have that are worth $2,000 that someone could walk inside your place and walk out with in their pocket? You know what I mean? Like, it's small, but it's still like that's easy. It's easy to lose. It's
Yeah.
easy. So I think someone who has like a gold store, that makes sense. Like this, you're in the know. Like Stephanie and I are never going to be in the know enough to be good gold investors because we're not doing all that research. Or we might do it one time and then we're done, right?
Yes.
No.
But like he knows gold. He can be in gold and knows when to sell it and who to sell it to. We were talking about how some woman in Mexico City was on the internet talking about, I need to fly home and I don't have any money, but I have this gold. Who would like to buy some gold from me? Guess what? No takers.
Was it a chain? I got this gold chain.
Gold bricks or coins. And
Okay.
she
Why don't you
couldn't,
just go
but
to a
like
gold
also,
store?
she's trying to sell gold on Facebook. Girl, you about to get robbed and scammed at the same time. Both.
I mean,
First of
there
all,
are gold stores here in Portugal, in
yes.
Lisbon, and in the States, right? Like that you
Mhm.
could go in but you got to know. You got to be up on it.
Yeah.
She's
Mhm.
on Facebook Marketplace trying to sell a gold.
In Facebook groups try to sell gold. Baby,
Yeah,
that gold, you might as well give that gold away because it's going to be gone in a minute. Mm-mm.
Bless her heart.
Bless her heart.
But who
Also, you don't
values
have
them?
money for a flight, but you have gold coins? Tell me
So
more.
what's y'all's plan then? What's y'all's plan?
I don't know. That's why I asked you.
Mm.
Like, I keep saying I want to remain nimble, but that has more to do with my physical safety than the safety of my money, right? But yeah, I don't know, and I haven't started researching it yet. After our summit, I'll start researching it, because by then I will know if I've got a 4-year reprieve or if I've got until January 20th.
Okay.
So I think also I recognize that this is one of the ways that I am hypocritical in the sense that I don't want the United States to crumble into dust every day.
No.
Some days, yes, whatever. Some days very much, yes, but not every day. And so when I say this, I will say I want the empire to fall, but what I don't want that to like destabilize
The
the
globe.
US, how I don't want the country itself to like fall into shambles. If it lost some power, I wouldn't be mad. But at the same time, I don't want to lose any value in the dollar, right?
That part.
And I know that there's some hypocrisy there. But okay, like
But there actually is a way to reduce the empire footprint
Yeah.
without devaluing the dollar. There are smart
Yes.
ways to do that, right?
Right. But because America won't do that voluntarily, I think the only way for it to happen is a little bit of the crumbliness, right? A little bit of like people push back in a way that
Every power concedes nothing without a struggle,
yes.
right? Power concedes nothing without a struggle. So if we want the empire to be less imperialistic, then it's going to take people putting political pressure on these mofos to make it happen. Everything that we have ever gotten of significance has happened because people made it happen. Not politicians woke up one day and said, I think it would be good if we just, no. They're like, I want to keep my job. I better listen to these folks, so that I don't get unelected in 2 years, 4 years, or whatever the term limit is. All right. So, and I didn't mean to go on to this rant, but hey.
Can I ask you a question, Halisi?
Yes, ma'am.
What's the last thing that made you happy in American politics?
Biden stepping down.
Yeah.
That made me happy because it's like we gonna lose. We gonna lose. We got to sell our house in Denver because it's a fly-by state. It ain't gonna last. The one in LA we can keep. Like I'm already like this summer I was already figuring out what we were gonna do to like lessen our footprint in the United States. So okay, I'm gonna say something really stupid now. The DNC roll call made me happy.
Oh, okay, that's not. But we're allowed to be joyful. We're allowed to like the world is such a not great
Shit
place.
show.
The world is such a shitty place that like where you can find joy if it's not hurting someone else, find your joy. I don't care what it is,
Yes.
right? Find that joy.
Yes.
Find
Yes.
that joy.
The thing that made me happy, more or less, was Kamala Harris being put in a position to run for presidency.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
I was
it's
going to ask if
something-
that was the same, if that was what Halisi was saying, or if it was she was actually, you know what I mean? Like, are you saying Biden or are you saying Kamala? But
I'm
you're
saying
saying Kamala and you're
I'm saying
Biden.
both. I'm
You're
saying
saying
both.
Okay.
because I think that's something has been needed for a superpower like the United States. Is
Mhm.
the problem is men, especially old white men, leading this country. That's passe. It's no more, and we need. So many other countries have had women in power
Mhm.
and done great things
Mhm.
that we need that. The United States needs it, whether they know it or not.
They don't know.
They need to, to change the paradigm.
Yeah.
It has to be changed.
My dad said the United States needs 4 women presidents in a row to get the country back on track. In a row. So if each one gets 8 years, 8 times 4 is 32. 32 years, a generation of women presidents. I said, Dad, you're a feminist.
Has he historically been a feminist?
Yes, he has. But you know what he said? He said, I'm not gay.
Oh, oh, baby.
Yeah, he didn't know the definition. I said, no, feminist just means, and when I told him, he's like, well, yes, of course. That's just common sense.
Of course.
It's just, and yet it's so far away from so many people.
Yeah.
Common sense is not common.
Yeah.
No.
It really isn't. It really isn't. So I love that you asked me that question because I hadn't really thought about that. But so Angel, black dogs do not give human beings kisses on the lips.
Not in this area. Okay, black dogs know to stay away from this area.
Not on the lips.
When I adopted my dog, who was actually a black dog, I didn't even have to train him. I didn't even have to train him. Like you weren't getting anywhere close to his face. And he wouldn't let me put my hand in his mouth and he wouldn't get anywhere near my he'd lick my ear sometimes. And that was as close as he was getting. A true black dog. I said, whoever had you before, thank you.
Yes.
Except for the abuse you had, the kissing thing. Yeah.
But yeah, yep. You learned. Good baby. Good baby. So it's a 5-factor.
Oh yes. Hi, Christian.
Because
okay, so I was going to say that earlier when you said 4-factor. So
Rick is on. Halisi and Rick are 1. They are 1.
that's
no,
what I'm saying.
no. I was just talking about women.
Oh.
I was just talking about women.
I was like, Rick don't count. Rick don't count.
I was just talking about women, and I was talking about the 3 women who got me out of the United States the fastest because I made the plans, right, sweetheart?
Yeah, you do.
All right.
I was trying to get you, Rick, and your wife. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, no. I was just talking about the women. All right.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get to the meat of this show. We're only 30 minutes in. Okay. I'm with Rashida. That's why I house sit in the Bay Area as much as I can. I'm not about that living to work life. Love the Bay Area, but expense. Ooh, child.
Ooh, child.
Yes. It like when we went there for our BFS appointment, and I went to Safeway and a regular bottle of Arrowhead, not like the fancy stuff. Arrowhead cost $5.
Welcome.
Welcome to San Francisco. It's like, this is not the Bay Area that my best friend went to school in. I don't know what this stuff is.
Stephanie went to a gas station. We were in the Bay right then. Went to the gas station, tried to pay for something, and what happened?
The man kept my 11 cents. Is that,
He said no change. No change.
Really? Oh my
We
God.
don't do change. We don't do change.
They don't do change?
listen, that's what he told me. Okay, that's what he told me. I
Look,
looked at him, and he looked at me, and I looked at him, and he looked at me, and then I just went home. I just got in the car.
so many
Listen.
games to be played in the Bay Area. So many games.
In Belgium, in Brussels, it's so expensive. First of all, a hamburger was $25
Ooh.
Oh, a
without the
hamburger?
fries, just the burger.
Yeah, Belgium is not cheap.
Mhm.
And so when I went to the grocery store and it was like, let's just say $3.57, and I went to give him 2 pennies, he's like, "Oh no, we don't take pennies."
round it up. Okay.
Yeah, but 100 of them is €1. Like, what we doing? we oh,
No.
we do not take pennies. Look,
Would they give you back pennies or no? Like, did he give you?
I don't know. I said, you know what? I'll use my card. How about
Okay.
that?
Yes.
Because we're not rounding up and look.
Mhm.
So I use my card, and we ain't got to worry about the pennies.
Mhm.
So all right. So the topic actually is escaping from America's toxic environment. We've been talking about the toxic environment.
That's right.
But what I think the questions, there are important questions that people should ask themselves, because leaving their home country
Mhm.
is not for everyone.
Yeah.
It's not for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So before we get to the questions that people should ask themselves, can you name 1 or 2 personality characteristics that would make it a really tough ride?
Mm.
Moving abroad, not moving, because the moving part is just the one thing, right? Moving is just a little piece of it, y'all. I know that that's the big thing, and everybody's like the move, but
Yeah.
then there's the after the move, and you've got to actually live in
You
the
have to live
country
there.
with all of its idiosyncrasies.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. If you're a person who wants things to be the way they are in a new place, if you just want to pick up the United States and move it to a new place, that's not going to work. If you want things to operate in that new place the way they operate in the United States, you're not going to make it. You're not going to make it, and your neighbors in your new country are going to hate you. Okay, if we do it this way in the U.S., is your response to the way things are done in a new country? Forget it. Pack it up. Don't go. Don't go.
And so I was going to say something that sounded very similar, which was, if you need things to be your way, it may not have to be the American way, but like, if you need, this does sound very Western, I guess, but like, if you need people to show up on time, or you get like upset. I saw somebody in a Facebook group once complaining, how do I get my Mexican people to understand that being on time is important? You go home, foreigner.
Yes.
Pay them more, like triple, quadruple the pay, maybe. I don't know.
I don't think that works.
But so yes, so it may be the American way, but even if it's not the American way, if it has to be your way, good luck with it. Good luck, because it's just so many different cultures around the world allow people to live lives that are not focused on labor or focused on serving, and so they don't have lives that revolve around what other people want.
Yeah.
And paying people more money doesn't work in these countries. In Costa Rica and Mexico, they'd be like, no, it doesn't cost that. It costs this, right? You'd be like, but I've tried with a housekeeper. If I pay you more, will you come and go quicker? Right? Because you pay the housekeeper, she thinks she needs to stay for 4 hours. This is not a 4-hour house, right? This Airbnb is not a 4-hour house. I'll pay you more if you will come and leave a little faster. No, it doesn't cost that. It costs this. Like it's not a thing that they're concerned with, right? You can't pay your way to people doing things the U.S. way. It's not going to work.
I'm telling you, my housekeeper has never said to me, "Oh, you overpaid me."
Oh.
She has never said that. and her and her cousin at this point will only work for Americans. So
Uh,
they were charging €8 an hour. I pay €10 an hour plus bonuses. And basically she's on time.
yes. Okay.
She's on public transportation, so stuff happens, it rains, whatever, right? But basically she's on time or early. And it doesn't matter how long she's here. If she's here 2 hours, I'm still going to pay her as if she were here 4 hours, because that's what's in the budget, and she probably needs it.
Yeah.
She does an excellent job.
Yes, she does.
She's excellent.
My cleaning lady shows up on time or early, but I think that's her personality, right? She shows up on time or early every week, unless she feels like coming another day, unless something happens. And she's like, I won't be there on Friday. I'll be there on Saturday. I won't be there on Friday. I'll be on Thursday. Okay, girl. But right, it'll be the same time. And I tell you, she's like, Stephanie, I'd be like, I paid for 4 hours and we're in hour 6. Please leave, please.
Right.
And she's like, I got to get this stuff done. I want you out of my home. I don't dislike you. I'm not angry at you. But I want the hubbub to stop. I don't care if you don't dust under the couch today. It's fine. It's fine. But at the same time, like, knowing that in order to have a good experience, I have to be flexible. If I ask her to do something and she says her version of no, like, get out of here. One time I was like, I have an incredible headache. I need to lie down. You don't have to clean the living room at all. I'm lying down. I hear her moving the couches to clean. What am I going to do? Get out of bed and yell at her? No. Okay. She's ignoring me and cleaning the whole living room, mopping the whole floor, getting the steam mop underneath the couches. But I know that, like, our relationship depends on her doing what she wants, but in that way of, like, her doing what she wants in the way that it's like extra, not her doing what she wants in the way that it's less. Her doing what she wants in the way that it's extra. It creates less static if I'm just like, okay, you ignore me. I won't be dust bunnies. It's fine, right? If I was the kind of person who was like, I need you to leave right now, I don't think she would still be my cleaning lady, right? Because I think she would take that personally.
Yeah.
One more group of people who moving abroad is not going to work for is the person who is not willing to let go of the American chip, the chip on your, it's not a chip on your shoulder. What is the armor that we have to wear as Black people in the United States? If you're not going to be willing to learn to drop that, it's okay if you can't take it off immediately once you get abroad, but at some point you have to drop that. It's not, you can't walk through your life in these places like, oh, they're looking at me because I'm Black. Oh, they're doing this because I'm Black. Right. Probably in my experience in the United States, it probably is because you're Black, right? But you have to be willing to let that go in these other countries and be a person in that country and not be a person with armor around yourself in that country. It may not happen immediately, and you may not know whether you can let that go or not because you've had it all your life. But at some point, you look around the table, and if every conversation when you get together with your new friends in this new country, every conversation is about then you're probably not making it. You probably haven't done the healing work you need to do to be able to really take advantage of the benefits of being out of the United States. You brought the US here with you.
Right. Yeah.
Another type of person is someone who isn't curious. You're not going to get by without a little bit of curiosity. Not curious and not not open, right? Like, if you only want to eat hamburgers, no matter where you are, stay in a place where hamburgers are on every corner, right? Like, if you really want to date, but you only want to date Americans, right? Like,
or Black Americans on top of that.
At that point, like, it does, yes, but also, like, you're still limiting yourself no matter what, right? I I think the food thing is the thing for me. 'Cause it's the thing I hear most often. Like, I can't move to that country because I don't like the food. First of all, they got 17 million types of foods there in every country, right? Second of all, like, do you not like it, or do you just really like what your mama cooks? And you're not going to get what your mama cooks for the rest of your life, right?
Right.
So, what are you got to be? You have to be open to the new. You have to be curious. Like I learned so much living in Mexico City from just like walking an extra 15 feet. Like, I'll see a line somewhere and I'm walking to see, what are we in line for? I know
Right.
it has nothing to do with me, but what are y'all doing? I did this the other day in San Miguel. Like, what's this line? What's happening here? Just a little tiny bit nosy, but it helps me learn my community a lot faster. I know what's a bus stop and what is some like actual activity happening in the community that I should be curious about to know whether to avoid it or to go towards it. Is that where the good food is? What's this line? What's happening here?
Right.
What y'all doing? And so it's very much a situation of if you don't have that curiosity, you're going to miss out on a lot.
Yeah,
Right.
that's right.
And if you're not curious, then there's the language thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Right.
that's right. That's right. You're never going to be comfortable there because you're always going to have this huge barrier. Language can be navigated. You can move abroad. You can move to most places without speaking that language. You can learn it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you're not willing to learn it, you're going to have it's going to be
Yeah.
not good. And then people are not going to like you either if you're not even trying.
If you're not trying, and I have to say, Portugal is a soft landing because there are so many English speakers as opposed to Spain, right? Where I had to pull out my Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
But still, that doesn't mean that you don't learn Portuguese because, first of all, I want to know, you talking about me?
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about me.
I actually don't care.
That was my reason for being bilingual when I was a kid, because the little Latinas would be on the bus
Your
talking that
neighborhood.
smack
Yes.
on the school bus, right? And I'm like, I know they talking about me.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't
If it's not a
I just
language
hear
I
Holy See?
understand, I know people will be like in nail shops trying to use their Google Translate. Baby, I do not hear what you say at all. Listen, you're not saying it to me,
right?
right?
And that's another thing with the racism. It's like, you might be talking smack.
I don't know.
You're talking too fast. I can't understand. And I want to become friends with our landlord.
Okay.
And they the daughter speaks English, and they speak a little bit of English, but they're not comfortable with it. And so now now we're to the point where it's, how was Belgium, and was it pretty, and I could pull out a little, it's pretty, it's expensive, look, it's Spanish with a Portuguese accent. That's what I'm speaking.
That's what you have.
That's what I'm speaking.
And
You
then
need
for
to come
all
up with a word for it. Not Spanglish. It's
It's Portugal.
Spanglish.
and then for all the greetings and stuff you learn in Portuguese, and you go to Belgium, and all of a sudden they're speaking French, and it's like I'm saying bon dia, boa tarde, boa noite, and they're saying bonjour.
For
That's
everything.
like, okay.
Yeah.
And those
Morocco.
those
So
languages are too much alike. Like, stop it. Just have
This
one language. I know I'm not like a terrible
Portuguese
person
and
right now.
Spanish are very, 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 very similar.
You throw in French and Italian, and I'm like, I don't got it. Just pick one. And there's that one. Please.
It was interesting because by the last couple of days, my French started coming back from high school and college.
Oh, okay.
My French started coming back.
Yeah.
So,
And every time I go somewhere and they say something, and I'd say sing, like yes to something, and forgetting this we.
Yep.
And it's like, oh my God.
Yep. Oh, we've got folks watching from Facebook and LinkedIn. Hey, y'all.
Hey, y'all.
Say hello in the chat. Say hello in the chat. Yeah, all over. We are multicasting. All right. So, any other things that you wanted to talk about? Personalities that should not consider moving abroad. If you can't. I think one of the major things that I that we've always been this way, but it got pronounced here, and we had to, like, slow our roll. Is just one is showing ourselves grace and patience.
Mhm.
Like, if you're really hard on
Yeah.
yourself, it's going to be frustrating.
Mhm.
Right? If you expect to pick the language up, if you expect to know this, know that. Look, we are toddlers here in Portugal, and we were toddlers in Belgium. How long did it take us to figure out how to work the dishwasher? Right? Like, things that you don't things that you don't think about, right? Now it took me 5 tries to get money out of the ATM when I first moved here,
Yeah.
because the little thing to translate, it's like, oh, okay, but that makes no sense. That doesn't mean withdraw, and that's what I want to do. I want to get some money.
Right.
And whatever word it was like something that
It
Shakespeare
was
would say.
something totally different.
I don't
Shakespeare
know.
language. Yeah.
I don't know, right?
You have,
So
that's good. You have to be able to give yourself grace. In Lisbon, I remember going to the metro station and handing my card to the man next to me to pay for my thing because I couldn't work the machine, right? If I wasn't a person if I was a perfectionist, if I needed to be good at stuff, to try to do stuff, oh man, I would not have made it. I wouldn't.
Right.
I'd be back home so fast and would have missed out on the place that I love, a place that became my favorite place, right?
yeah.
Yes, I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm holding up the line here, sir. Here's my card. You do it.
Yeah.
Well, now it's in English as well, so you can push
Okay.
the English button.
But you have to push the British flag.
Yes, the
because
British
they don't have
flag.
the
Yeah.
American flag. You have to
Yes.
push the British flag.
But that's good enough for us. Gang stalking is here. Hey there. If you don't take that mask off. So look, I don't want to catch his cold.
Keep it on.
I
Keep
can
it
tell
on.
you that.
We already tested. It's not COVID. We tested.
No, it's
we
not
know it's not
COVID.
that. So, all right. Questions that folks should ask themselves before they move abroad. And we kind of talked about this with the personalities, but I'm going to start it off with what are your personal goals?
Okay.
Like, because sometimes your goals don't line up with the place that you're looking at.
Okay.
Right. There were some people who were like, oh, so we want to open a business. I was like, oh Lord,
Okay.
a brick and mortar here in Portugal? Good luck with that. Like, if it's doable. I
Mhm.
know people who have done it. Do I know any Americans who've done it? Yes, I know
Yeah.
one American who's done it. And he has been so frustrated.
Yeah.
He has been so frustrated.
Yeah.
And he's trying this, and now he's trying that, and blah, 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 whoop de whoop, right? Now, doing a catering business where it's not brick and mortar and you can kind of, maneuver around is one thing. But what are your personal goals? And is that in line with the place that you want to work?
Good. That's good. Yeah. Yeah. You can't force a place to be something it's not.
Mhm.
You can't force a place to have less bureaucracy if they have a lot of bureaucracy.
Right.
You can't force a place to be organized, right? If it's really if there's no rules, there's no right. You can't force it. So yeah, that's good. I think that's good.
Here, when you open a business, when you sign up, to get your LLC or S corp, whatever the equivalent is, right? You immediately have to get an accountant. You ain't got a client, you ain't got a customer, but you paying an accountant.
Mhm.
Now, I don't know why that law was made. Maybe so many people were falling down on the job with their accounting, and this was I don't know. Or maybe the accountant lobbyists got I don't know. But to me, it's crazy. And I know someone who didn't have a client and was paying $350 a month to do what? You ain't got no money.
Mm. You got a hobby. You're paying to do your hobby.
Right.
Right? Exactly. And I suppose professional goals, if you're still working, can you move abroad with the job that you have? Is it totally remote? Are you still needing to make money when it comes to personal and professional goals? So I don't know if you guys want to add on to that.
Like number 2?
Yes.
You ready for number 2?
Yes.
So number 2, I would say, is how much will it cost me in this new place? That's the number people really don't do. And they're like, oh, I can't move abroad because I'm like, girl, you don't even know what the number is. How much, what will my cost of living? You can't find out what someone else's cost of living will be. But what would what's an approximation of what my cost of living would be in a place? I one time stayed with people when I was in Australia. Australia is so expensive and my budget was so tight that I did work exchanges. And I did a work exchange with a family where they did not have functioning toilet. So I could tell you, I stayed in Australia and I spent a few $100s over the course of two months. But you don't know that I did not have a functioning running toilet. We used a little, they made their own composting toilet out of a big old dumpster. And you would poop in the toilet and then you would have to dump horse manure on top of your poop. Okay, sure.
Horse manure? So they covered the poop with poop?
Yes.
Because with some other animal's poop.
Yes. Horse manure is funny. It's more like hay, and it's a really funny thing. It doesn't smell at all. It's really a strange situation.
Was it dry? Because horse manure,
because the horses in Belgium, those horse manure, those poops smelled. They smelled.
I guess it was some dried. It was a hay mixture. It was probably mostly hay, but it was a hay mixture with some manure in it. But it helped break down the poop, right?
Okay.
And that was the process. So sure, you asked me how much I spent in Australia for 2 months. I probably spent less than $1,000 in Australia for 2 months, but I didn't flush a toilet one time. Right?
What was the family Australian?
Yeah, they were Australian. So houses to build, housing in Australia is so expensive that when someone decides to build a home, it takes them years. It's not unusual for people to take. So they lived in the garage. They built the garage first. And they basically lived in the garage for years while they were building the rest of the house. And so their garage had a mini kitchen. It had, they had a refrigerator. They had a mini kitchen. And then they had like what we call here suicide showers, right? They had a shower that may or may not shock you to death. You needed some instructions to use a shower, right?
What?
And then they had a RV.
Yeah, because it needs something to heat the water. So you have to run electrical current.
Yes. Right. And then they had an RV in the front. I lived in the RV while I was there, and they lived in the garage. And that was normal. So when you drove down their street, you could see 3 or 4 different people built under construction, and they were all living in the garage. They built the garage first, right? It's a really, really crazily expensive place to live. And they needed work exchange people to come and do some work for them. And so I did that, right? Because my budget was pennies. My $1,200 a month was my budget, and that included everything. And Australia, the only way I could afford it was if somebody else was putting a roof over my head. So cost of living, you need to know what your approximate cost of living would be in a place. You can't go by somebody else's. You can live there for $400 a month, may not be what you want, or somebody else's, it costs $4,000 a month to live here, right? Is she in a penthouse, right? Is this the way that you want to live? It may not be that much of a reach for you. It may not be that expensive for you. So you have to find ways to figure out what your cost of living would be in a place.
Mm-hmm. That should have been number one.
Okay. No.
No, it should have been number one, because I can't tell you how many people I've talked to and they have coaching calls with us or whatever. And they're asking me, well, what about this and what about that? And I say, wait, what is your budget? Oh, I hadn't thought about it.
Yeah.
But you want a house here? Like a single family home here in Lisbon? And you haven't thought about this is yeah. So I think that should be number one, because I've talked to too many people who haven't thought about what their budget is going to be. And they're like, well, I don't know. And do you not know because you don't know how much it costs here and you're getting $10,000 a month in pensions?
Right. And it doesn't matter.
Right. Or you don't know because you haven't thought about it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and usually it's the latter. They haven't thought about it. Yeah. They just hear what our cost of living was from when we first got here back in 2022.
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And they're like, oh yeah, so we can afford that. Like,
Yeah.
baby,
I
baby.
Praise God. Oh,
price going up. Excuse me. Mm.
Oh no, you can't not yawn. It's 9:30 here. It is 9:30 at night.
2:30 here. I would say the next thing on the list should be figuring out when you go abroad what your source of money is going to be. And I didn't say source of income because we center jobs too much, but like, where is the money going to come from? I like gifts. If you would like to gift me cash, that's acceptable, right? Like a regular gift of cash is acceptable, right? But like, will you have a remote job? Are you getting dividends? Are you babysitting? Do you have some kind of annuity? Are you killing off your family members at a regular interval? Like,
oh,
what is
that on the list.
I always got something for you when it comes to making money.
Insurance. Okay.
Insurance, right? Like what?
I didn't hear the alimony.
Alimony. Marry him, her, whoever, with a deadline. If I got to get through 2
Not
years,
with a deadline.
I got to get through 2 years
To get my money.
to get all the money.
Close your ears, Rick. Close your ears, Rick. You're still our matchmaker. Okay, don't listen.
I forgot about that.
Not
You
with a deadline.
I
don't need
forgot
to know
about
the
that.
whole plan.
Yes,
Wait a
yes.
minute.
Oh,
Figure
God.
like having a money plan and your money plan, when I talk about it, isn't something that should be tenuous. It's not if A, B, and C all happen perfectly. And if your money plan is I just have to keep this job, that's okay. But if it's I have to hide from my employer where I am to keep this job, and I can't be in a place that has blackouts, and I can't, that's what I'm saying is tenuous. That's not the money plan we want for you. Your money plan should be something solid and dependable. Like my employer knows where I am and what time of day, and we have a deal about what hours I work.
Right.
And it's all good. If I get fired, I get fired. Everybody can get fired, right? But not the hiding, not the like, I have enough money for 2 or 3 months and I don't know what I'm going to do afterwards. You can do that. It's just not what I want for you. I want you to have a long-term plan before you go.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially for grown-ass adults.
Yes. Aileen, since the brand is strong, Aileen said, I forgot to mention a little light fraud. A little light fraud. Now, I like a little light fraud for like a once in a while situation, not a consistent, not that you have to rely on it month by month. You need
Yeah.
money today, a little bit of fraud.
Yeah.
Not regularly, but Aileen, I did forget that. I'm sorry. I forgot it.
Okay. I'm
Yes.
marking these questions. I'm marking these questions,
Little bit of
guys. I
fraud.
see, guys. So yeah, I mean, you know, if I know someone who is bopping around and her job pretty much knows that she's bopping around, but they think she's just on vacation. And
Mhm.
it's a semi-remote job. So, you know, she was here helping her mom, helping the apartment get together for her mom before her mom came. Good daughter, good daughter. But you know, but that's not tenuous because they know that she is bopping around and doing this and that. And as long as she gets her job done and shows up for the interviews or whatever she's got to do, meetings, whatever she's got to do, then you know it's all good. I, there, I'm gonna add on to that. Thinking that you're going to get a job in the new country
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
with the money, right? Like we know someone, I don't know. It's like, because when somebody was telling me about them, I was like, oh, they don't listen to us. And then she started saying more. She started saying more. I was like, oh my God, I know exactly who you talking about. And it's like, so folks, you know, if you're going to keep your American number, do not keep it with like T-Mobile and this and that, and then be making these international calls, paying $500 and $600 and $700 a month, especially if you're on a tight budget, right? 3 storage units. I'm not stepping on anybody's toes, am I? Three, storage. Like if you've got a tight budget, that's probably not something that you should do. Do not keep assets. Well, not assets. Do not keep things that are costing you money and not going up in value in the United States. So you paying for a car that's just sitting there
Mm-hmm.
in front of somebody's driveway or whatever. They do you like, what are we doing? Just in case? What are we doing? So things like that don't make sense. And you need to really think carefully and ask all of your questions when it comes to the money part. Accessing your money. How do you access your money? Okay, yeah, you guys got to move because I thought we were frozen. I was like, uh-oh, did we go offline? Blink your eyes, something.
Yeah.
Accessing your money can be expensive.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I tried to order a bouquet of flowers a couple of days ago. I'm in Costa Rica, and most things I can do online with my American bank, but the florist, I had to have a Costa Rican bank account to be able to pay for flowers online, right? So, and then I couldn't wire. So then what they did was they gave me a bank number, a way to wire the money in. I went to Zoom, XOOM, which is one of the PayPal owns Zoom, and it's a wire transfer thing. And Zoom transfer the money and then transferred it right back, right? Because it was a business transaction and Zoom is for personal transactions only. Even though I lied and said it was a personal transaction, they knew, I guess somehow they knew it was a business account or something, right? So you have to have a plan for how to get your money. It's usually not a big deal, but it's a thing that you need to have worked out. You have to have it worked out. So my US bank account, I'm not struggling, but I usually have to take some extra steps to do certain online transactions in Costa Rica. Pulling cash out is no problem, right? Pulling cash out of the ATM is no problem. But for some online things, you need a plan for what you're going to do, which could often be just get a bank account. In most countries, I think you can probably get a bank account even if you're not a permanent resident there, right? Even on a tourist visa, because I asked, even in Costa Rica, you can get a bank account on a tourist visa. So that would be.
We have to, like here, and this is another thing about the money. Landlords, et cetera, some caterers that I've used, they want you to pay like through Portugal's version of Zelle, right?
Yeah.
Bank to bank. That means you got to have a bank account, right? You got me giving my I suppose he would accept cash if I knocked on his door and said, "Here's some cash for the rent." But I've got his bank account number, and he expects me to transfer that money in, at the first of the month. So so then that means I've got to have euros. Right now, the dollar is weaker, and so who was asking?
Right there.
Yeah, would you convert more of your USA money to euro? Yes. When I heard that they were about to default and the interest rates were going up on the US's debt, the dollar was starting to weaken. I transferred a bunch of money.
Oh, smart.
Yeah. Right? Like I'm not going through this roller coaster with y'all in this Congress trying to shut down the government and all that stuff, because that weakens the dollar temporarily as well. It makes us look unstable. We're not going to pay our bills, right? But we can't get away with not paying our bills. I don't know how the government thinks that they can get away with not paying their bills. But anyway, so yeah, that's what I do, Greta. And then that way I don't feel the conversion rate on a monthly basis, because all of the money has already been transferred to euro and I'm just paying out of that. And that's my Portugal money, right?
Good. That's another reason for me to go ahead and open up an account here then. That's smart. That's very good.
Okay. Yeah. And all of us are on the group chats. This is another thing. Community. We're all on the group chat. Oh, did you see the dollar's up? Transfer some money.
Every day in the groups in Mexico, it's like this is what the peso is doing to the dollar today.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It gets there's a little bit of movement, and people are like, watch out now. Watch out. Because my rent went up hundreds of dollars over the past few. It's gone back down now, but it went up as far as my rent is in pesos, but I have American dollars. I Zoom my American dollars to my landlord. And the last time my rent was this low was 2023. Since 2023, my rent has been hundreds of dollars. No, 2022, hundreds of dollars higher than it is right now because of the fluctuation in the currency, which is something you should expect when you move abroad.
Yeah. And plan accordingly.
Yes.
Plan accordingly.
Yeah.
So more money talk. Gold is something to consider. Some companies have already gone back to the gold standard. Some companies?
Countries, probably.
Probably countries. Gold does not lose its value. We are getting closer to the gold standard being announced. It sometimes does lose its value. Just like stock.
Yes, I've seen that. I watch a man. He be talking. Yeah.
I feel like people get so weird about, and this is not particular to this commenter. People get so weird about when you talk about living outside of the US, about money in general. We were specifically speaking about gold, but about money in general and about the value of the dollar or the value of whatever currency you're going to be using. But a lot of people, especially in America, love to tell you, but you're going to be broke, right? That like, whether you're using dollars or whether you got all your money in pesos or euros, whatever, you're going to be broke, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's something about you being fearful of something and then trying to put that fear on someone else and making using the word, making it sound big and important and saying, I know this and I know that, when you could just be quiet, right? Because, and I don't want to sound dismissive, but I am being dismissive. I'm so sorry. Your fears aren't helpful for someone else, right? Their fears are helpful for them, right? Their fears are something they should pay attention to and figure out how to maneuver around. But your fears, what you're afraid of, does not help somebody else. And if you don't believe you can do something, telling someone else that they can't or shouldn't do it because you live in a place of either negativity or lack or whatever's going on psychologically, go talk to the lady, not me. That's not something to spread. It's not something to spread around. I think that a lot of times, and we can see it here in the comments, people think that there's a right answer, right? And the right answer for them is also the right answer for you. You just don't know it yet. Instead of saying like, we all need different things, right? And what will work for you may not work for me. And you, like, I want everyone on this planet to explore what works best for them and go get that, as long as it's not hurting other people, right? Because if you're happy and I'm on the bus next to you, right? I might feel some of that joy. At least I'm not going to feel any negativity, right? So like allowing people to find their joy and encouraging them to find their joy is a significantly better prospect for this planet than sitting in doom and gloom, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, telling people that the money's gonna, and like I said, it was not about that comment as much as it's about like the negativity that we see in a lot of places when we're having conversations.
The need to say, it's not going to work out for you, right?
Right.
While talking to a person who is living that life, talking to a person for whom it is currently working out, right? But needing to say, it's not going to work out, right?
Yeah.
It's working out pretty good.
Yeah, we cannot let other people's fear, because they will put that on other people in a minute. Other people's fear become our fears. Is there a troll in the chat, y'all? I see you saying something about a troll, but I don't see it. And then Rapper MD, what do you mean by flat currency? Fiat currency.
Fiat currency. There's a lot of places still use fiat currency. Yes, they do.
So
I don't know what fiat currency is.
Fiat currency is the dollar in America, or the euro in Europe, or money that you're not using
Bitcoin,
gold or silver or Bitcoin or anything like that.
Yeah, paper and coins.
Paper and coin.
Yep.
So
Thank
we
you,
talked
sweetheart.
about personal goals, your cost of living, how you going to pay for that, right? Where's that money coming from? How you going to access your money in another place?
Yep.
And briefly, you touched on, Halisi, what you going to do with your stuff. You talked about it briefly, but it's a big question, right? It's a big question.
I
Some of
just talked about it in relationship to money, right? And the storage units, just the money. So, but yeah, what are you going to do with your stuff?
what you're going to do with your stuff is a thing that first you need to know, do you think you're going to move for good? Or seriously, do you think you're moving for a few weeks, a few months, a year, right? There's a difference between I'm moving abroad to live abroad forever and I'm getting up out of this country.
Right.
But it may not be a permanent thing. I have a remote job, or I got this cash on me, or I got something and I'm leaving for a while. So what you're going to do with your stuff varies. You can, for some people, the answer is sell it all, including the house. For some people, it's sell the stuff in the house, keep the house. For some people, it's keep everything in the house because I'm coming back. I'm leaving, but I'm coming back. I'm leaving, but somebody's going to stay here while I'm gone, right? But what you're going to do with your stuff is, it's probably the most challenging thing. Once people start making progress, once a family decides we're moving abroad, once you make that decision, right, it's the most challenging part of this thing, because it's
attachment to
Your
stuff.
attachment, right.
We just talked to some people. They're like, so what did you do with all your books? Because I was talking about how I like to read and this and that. I was like, I had to give them away. I gave them to family members who I thought wanted them, the one that can't come pick it, except for these that are signed and my Harry Potters. Other than that.
well, then, like we always say, too, when we talk to people, it's like those things that you were going to give to family members, give it to them now.
To will away
To
when you
will
die.
away. Don't wait, because you might find out they don't want that.
They don't want that shit.
It's like, I want that. What am I going to do with it?
So many people that I talk to can't give their family members family pictures. Your nieces don't even want the picture. Your grandkids don't want much less the heirloom furniture that is only valuable to you because it was in Big Mama's house in 1865, right? Like, nobody wants that.
They don't.
No.
Nobody wants that. They don't. We could not give that stuff away. We had to donate it. My sister didn't want our mom's china. No.
We live different lives now. We don't have china closets. We don't have that.
No. Okay, so my mom's wedding china that I don't think she ever used the entire time she was married. They got married 40, almost 50 years ago. It's never been used. It's sitting in her storage unit in Florida. And I want it, but I don't want it, right? I want it because, like, I don't have a lot of things from them because they move so often, right? But also, how do I get a set of china from Florida to Mexico that is not shipping, because I'm not paying me shipping services anymore after my last few experiences? Am I bringing it like cups wrapped in socks in my suit? What am I doing to get this stuff down here?
Exactly.
Right. And then when if and when I move again, because moves are they happen, right? What is the next plan for this? A lot of stuff that seems like I'm going to have this for a lifetime I'm going to have it for this phase of my life. Right?
Yeah. So you want it, but you don't want to be bothered with it.
She doesn't want the china. She's like, you want to take it? Yes.
I don't want to be bothered.
I don't know.
We've got a china cabinet in the Denver house. Yeah. And if we rent out to strangers, it's like, I've got to figure out what I'm going to do with it. It was my grandmother's china cabinet. Don't you know, I thought of that when you're talking about the heirlooms, filled with African motif china. Real china. Yeah. So I want the china, but I don't want to bring it here until I figure out how long we're going to be here. And I know we're not going to be staying in this apartment indefinitely.
That's right.
So I don't want, like, the stuff. Yeah. It's a lot of decisions, and I think some of it is reevaluating your relationship with your stuff.
Yeah.
I will say that as someone who had a storage unit to get rid of, I was legitimately surprised at how hard it was to give stuff away. Like someone said, like, "Oh, Goodwill takes anything." No, they don't.
No,
And
they
not
don't.
not that they don't take anything. It's that a lot of them don't have. I could not give away a perfectly good, no scratches, no dents, nothing broken with a couch, a table, like a big coffee table, a big dining table. The places did not have room for it, right? I think also with the increase in homelessness in the Bay Area, houses were being emptied out and being taken to Goodwill, and they were like, "No, take that. Like, I don't know what you're gonna do with it, but take it."
Well, that raggedy one over there in the corner, you can put that in the dumpster and take mine.
No, we got enough stuff. We got enough stuff.
Yeah.
No. Oh, okay. Well, now what about? They were like, "We don't know what you do, but you get this out of here." Oh,
Well, you know what you don't do.
okay.
Can you tell me where the other Goodwill is or something? You
They
know,
say, "Get it."
Even in Florida, when your mom was moving, we couldn't find. I was there for a few hours, so I take ownership over the
Yes.
over the Florida move.
3 hours. We couldn't find a place to send stuff, right? Like it's just not. That's not how things are done anymore. Everybody's full. Everybody's stuff is in those places already.
Seriously. So you need to start early with what you're going to do with your stuff and get it down to where you only have the essentials. Because I'm going to tell you, we ended up getting a dumpster.
I broke down stuff. I ended up breaking down entertainment centers
Stuff
and
like
everything and put in the dumpster.
Yep.
Yeah.
All that money in the dumpster.
Worse, I paid someone to haul it away. Haul away a lot of my stuff. Adelia and I were like, and then we got a quote, and he showed up, and the number and the quote were not the same. No, the number was so different. I was like, it was like, pay us $500 or something more than that to haul away things that we're going to resell where we can, right? They're not just taking them and throwing them, taking them to the garbage. This 1-800-JUNK is off to like make money from these things.
I was going to say, did you call 1-800-JUNK? Because it's always different. So they fill up so much of the truck with your stuff, and then anything past that line, it costs you a whole lot extra. So you end up paying a whole lot more money.
I called them and they were late. And so we called them back and they're like, "Hey, is someone coming?" And they're like, yeah, someone's on the way. 3 trucks showed up at the same time. And stuff went on all 3 different trucks. And now the quote is more.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 1-800-JUNK.
I said, "No, baby, we need to," I'm not like, if that's the number, take it off the truck. take it off the truck. Because you're not going.
Yeah, because this is not Portugal. This is America, and in America, what you say and what you that's legally binding.
There's no relationship between the quote and the actual number. No relationship.
None at all.
I was like, these ball-headed games, we're not playing.
All of that was his job.
Yeah, it's nothing. It has nothing to do with it. It's like, oh my God. You don't have to throw something else extra on there because we ended up putting the dresser or something in your mom's room that we ended up having because the guy couldn't take it. And I asked the guy, I said, "Well, what about this?" I think it cost me a couple $100 more.
See, I didn't hear about that.
It was stupid.
Because we got the Fix-It man to haul all of it to the dump, and he charged me $270.
Well, this was before the Fix-It man.
Exactly. We didn't know all the maneuvers.
So I learned my lesson about junk. I got junk.
So lesson is, y'all, start early. As soon as you make a decision that this is something that you want to do, start getting rid of stuff.
So Ty makes an interesting point. Like, she says, imagine having to get rid of stuff, paid to get rid of stuff that people are in dire need of. Shows you how wasteful, capitalistic, and consumptive U.S. culture is. Yes, in the sense that, like, the stuff I paid to get rid of, it's because I tried to sell it, right? And it wasn't like our prices were high, so people were like, it's not worth the money. It's like they didn't show up at all, or there were no takers. Tried to give it away to the Goodwills. Took stuff to not a Goodwill, but like a charity that gave things to like directly to homeless people. So it wasn't like they were selling things. Like these things are going to go directly to people who are furnishing their houses and that kind of thing. That was, I think, level 2. Selling, giving, big furniture, trying to take that to like the Goodwills and stuff. And then the stuff that was left over, the stuff that these places wouldn't take or wouldn't come for, that was the stuff that it was like, I need to, like, realistically, I'm in an Airbnb right now, emptying out the storage unit. I can't just leave this stuff in the Airbnb, so I have to get rid of it somehow. And it was cheaper to pay someone to get rid of it based on the quote, which was wrong, than to take it to the dump, take it myself to the dump. There are a lot of countries. My point is there are a lot of countries that are good at having secondary markets, right? So I use a thing, I'm done with a thing, and now it's going on the market for someone else to use the thing. America, like no matter how many buy-sell groups we have, America's just not very good at that. All right, so Ty is very right on that point. It's not built for us to have this market of things that are still serviceable and someone else uses. It's just.
Yeah. And a lot of times
we used to have Craigslist, which I bought a lot of stuff off of Craigslist before it turned into a porn list or whatever it is.
And a lot of times you have your churches and stuff, your Catholic churches, St. Joseph, whoever will take stuff, but they don't fall in line with your timeline either. If you're trying to make moves and do different things, if they don't show up.
That's why you got to start early.
It gets crazy. It gets really crazy.
I wanted to pull this up that Greta said, because we did give a lot of our stuff or my mom's stuff to a sober living home.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so from furniture to dishes and silverware and pots and pan, all that kind of stuff. It was a new sober living home and they needed that stuff. So, but start early, right? Like, especially if you don't have those kind of contacts.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. There was, go ahead.
Can I jump in real quick? Rapper MD, is Rapper MD a man?
No, she's a woman.
She's a woman. Okay, I can't see the photo. It's so small. Said she was talking about what's at Exodus Summit last year. And I was like, how would you know? Why do you know? Okay.
Yeah, she's a woman, and she's actually a client of ours, and we're helping her relaunch her YouTube channel. So check her out.
Hi, friend.
She is an MD, but she teaches holistic healing.
Okay.
Yes.
And this year we're having Christine Platt, the Afro-minimalist, talk about liberation is less and how living with less stuff is liberating. So we're very excited about that talk. It's not the direct how to declutter talk that we had at last year's summit, which you can still get if you want. But this year is more about like conceptually what your life could look like with less, and maybe some ideas of like how to head in that direction.
Yeah. Diane, you said, please talk about the US dollar. Baby, you're going to have to give me more. What do you mean? What about the US dollar? So give me more. All right. So I think we talked about personal and professional goals. We talked about the money, how much money you need. You should know that. How you're going to manage your finances. Where's the money going to come from? Where's the income going to come from? And be creative. Like, don't just think of job. I hear so many people who like, well, are they hiring in Portugal? Are they hiring in Costa Rica? That's not the move, right? So be creative. And if you don't know what I mean by that, then look at our side hustle video that we did last week. We talked about what you're going to do with your stuff. Other questions that people should be asking themselves.
Who's coming with you? Who are you bringing with you? Who are you leaving back home? And what's the plan for them? Whether it's children or elderly parents or spouses. I couldn't even say it with a straight face. Right? Who's coming with you? Who are you leaving behind or leaving there? And what is the plan for the people that you need to make a plan for? People move with kids, with parents. The answer isn't that, well, I got these kids, so now I have to stay, or I have these parents, so now I have to stay in the country. It's what's your plan? What's your plan?
Leave the kids behind. Okay, I met a woman this week who moved with her spouse. She brought him too, her kids, and her mama, and I was like, "Yep, that's the way. That's the way."
You know, I was hoping for a minute there, and we had some clients, a son and a mom, and he's like 40 something, so he's grown ass, right? And his mom, and then they came to the meetup, or did he just come? Did his mom
No, they
come?
both came.
Yeah, they both came. I thought so. I
Yeah.
thought so. So yeah, lovely, lovely. So I want to add on to that. How will you maintain relationships? Right? Because it's not just a given. And you know, if Gloria Vincent calls me one more time at 1:30 in the morning, talking about what you doing, I'm asleep. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. I'm asleep.
Well, it's daytime for her.
Yes. And then she'll come at 1:45. Did you call me? You're in my phone. Your number popped up in my phone. Yeah, because you called me. Oh my God.
She needs a clock. Halisi, you need to get her a Halisi Rick clock where she can see at all times. Is for y'all.
I don't think that'll do any good.
No.
I don't think it do, because she ain't gonna pay attention to it.
She still has
Your phone rang?
Yeah.
Your phone rang?
It rings for the people who are in my emergency contacts.
Take them out. Take them
I
out.
turn mine off. I'll turn it off.
My phone does not ring any time of day.
So it's hard because I've got two elderly parents who are in assisted living, going in and out of the hospital. So not like so, if I find out at 2:00 in the morning, it's like I can't do nothing about it.
Right. That's what I was gonna say, Halisi, like with the time difference.
Right.
What
Can't do
can you
nothing
do in an
about
emergency? What can you do in an emergency with the time? And not that means
wake up my aunt and tell her to go figure it out.
Tell that home to call the aunt. Call the aunt.
Right.
And then let me know when I can like do something helpful. But either it's gonna be night for you or night for there's that window. But like night for you or night for her.
Yeah. It would be easier if they were on the East Coast, but they're on the West Coast.
Yes.
Right. They're on the West Coast. So it is a big difference. It is a big difference. So how are you going to maintain those relationships? So one of my best friends in Denver, I set up a Zoom, a regular Zoom that we do every other week. And I'm supposed to be helping her launch her side hustle, but it ends up being talking about the kids and, and catching up and, this new recipe and all of that. And oh, by the way, so when are you launching your YouTube channel, baby? But, I feel like I haven't left in that regard because it's nice to be able to talk to her on a regular basis.
I do that too with my best friend. We have a weekly call at a specific time, and every once in a while, someone can't make it, but she's on the West Coast, right? So she's only an hour behind me, but we haven't been in the same time zone for 6 years, so it's the only way we know for sure that we're going to actually talk, because otherwise life will get in the way, and then it's 2 weeks later, and I meant to call you, but the people who are super important to me, I'm like, let's get it on the calendar.
Yeah.
Let's go on the calendar. Otherwise, Stephanie has me on the calendar twice a week because she needs to talk to me.
It's true.
and I remember, Stephanie, you saying if it's important, it's on the calendar.
Yeah.
Right.
First of all, I'm too old now to try to remember appointments and remember things. Right. I don't have that anymore. My brain, I don't have one of those brains anymore. Where I remember things. But secondly, you just want to make sure that your week looks like you want it to look. If you don't put that kind of stuff on your calendar, then the other stuff takes over. The responsibilities. Even we have responsibilities living out here, right? The responsibilities and the work and the other stuff takes over if you don't have the good stuff on your calendar to block it off first. Make that the first thing you do.
Right.
I got to get used to that then.
Well, yeah. I mean, because
I'm terrible at that. Because
you're better than I am. But him and his best friend, you guys used to talk every Thursday.
Yeah.
So you got to get back to that.
I got to get back into that.
Because Ron's his 80-year-old best friend. He came here for a week. Look, Ron be out there in them international streets. So that's part of the problem because he's gone like
Yeah,
3,
he's
4, 5
always
times a year.
traveling
He's
somewhere.
out there.
Is that Ron that I met at dinner?
Yes. Yes.
Outside Ron. Outside. Okay.
Yeah, zip lining at 79 years old and stuff like
No,
that,
80
right?
years old. He's
Was he
Mixed
80?
bad
Ron's
influence.
82.
Yeah, but he didn't zip line this year, a couple years ago. But still, look, he's bolder than I am because he was in Costa Rica zip lining over them jungles.
Good.
Oh yeah.
Is that your son in the comments? Christopher?
It could be. We have a son, Christopher.
You have son, Christopher?
That's my son Christopher.
I was like, I know that name. Okay. All right. Well, son.
That's him.
Yeah, Pops is forgetful.
Trying to get him out of that matrix.
Yeah. All right, Chris. Look, you got your passport. Let's go.
I'm telling you.
Let's go.
Get out that matrix, trying to, run after that dollar, make that dollar chase you.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. All right. Other questions that people should be asking themselves. And then, wait 1 second. I didn't even see this. When did this pop up? Hey, Cameron, this is a new name. Great collaboration. Sisters are the present and the future.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And we believe in collaboration around here.
Yes.
We would not have 46,000 subscribers if it wasn't for these two ladies. Let me tell you, because what they taught me, and since then I've taught Rick, is one thing is collaboration is key. So it really is. So thank you for the super sticker or super chat. I can't tell which one it is on this third party app, but all of our super chat, super thanks money goes to our scholarship fund for Beyond the Bling. That is our financial independence course for late bloomers like us.
Ooh, okay. Can I throw a scholarship request out?
Yeah.
A scholarship request. If you're okay, so everyone who's watching this probably already knows that Exodus Summit is for Black women. But I know that there's more than Black women watching this right now. You can send us money so that a Black woman can go to Exodus Summit. Because I'm saying this because last year, one of our biggest donations was from your audience, I think. We did that last year, right? Yes.
Yes.
And if you live abroad, if you're already abroad, you know how important it is, what a blessing it is to be able to get the tools and information that took you abroad. And so if you want to donate, we are on CashApp as Exodus Summit. Steph, do you have that link you can put in the chat? In the private chat?
Put the link in the chat.
But the private chat.
Is it just $?
Exodus
Mhm.
Summit? Yes. And then we're also on PayPal as Exodus Summit as well. We use any money donated to give tickets to women in our community, and it's super important. And we hope you support the mission, right? If you're watching this, you probably do. So that's.
What? I see people pin something to the top, and I have yet to figure out. Maybe we can't do it in StreamYard.
No, you have to go into YouTube. That's one other reason I keep the phone on, because you can. It's easier to manage your chat. Like you can block people and stuff easier from your phone. So I always have the video up on my phone. Also, that's a thing.
This is why I have these two women on, because I learned little tips and tricks.
Yeah, you asked me why I keep the phone. Now I remember why, right? It's to block people and it's for, it's easier to manage the chat from the phone. Some parts.
Yeah. So, all right. That's good to remember. So I did put, I put it in the chat.
Thank you.
And I'm going to put it on the screen.
Thank you.
$ Exodus Summit to donate. If you, or you can gift. Or you can gift a ticket to a woman in your life, a sister, a mother, a friend, an auntie, whomever, right? Your wife, your girlfriend who can help you get out.
Exactly right.
Right. Exactly. All right. So we're talking about questions that you should ask yourselves before you move abroad. We talked about what you're going to do with your stuff. We talked about the money. How you're going to manage your finances, where's the money going to come from? We talked about your personal and professional goals. I think for our age group, something else that folks should be asking about is how is the healthcare system, and do they have what I need where I'm going?
I mean, but the answer is yes, right?
Yeah.
Yes and no.
Okay, give
Because
me your
the
example.
country, yes. Each individual city, maybe not.
Okay.
Fair,
Right?
fair.
Right? So,
Okay.
for instance, we knew
Mm-hmm.
some people who moved to Sintra. Now,
Mm-hmm.
Portuguese people,
Ooh,
don't get in
yeah.
my chat, don't get in my comments talking about, look, these are old people who
Mm-hmm.
have urgent care needs on a weekly basis and no car, and there's no Uber up there. So, getting on planes, trains, and automobiles to get to the hospital is not the move.
Mm-hmm.
Is not the move, right? And so make sure that you're moving to a town or a city that has a hospital, that's accessible to you, easily accessible if healthcare is a concern.
I didn't know this until I started traveling, but I'm such a city girl. So when I talk about moving abroad, I forget people aren't moving to like the biggest city in the country. My
Yeah.
bad. My bad.
Yeah.
My
Some
bad.
people are moving to the jungles, the beaches, right? Yeah. So that's a good point.
Or small towns, rural areas, right? Like, so we've got another friend who you all, I think they were on, I think they were on Exodus Summit, and they chose Coimbra
Yeah.
because Coimbra has a teaching hospital there,
Mhm.
and more doctors per capita than even Lisbon. So if you've got serious health issues and not just I just need to get a checkup on a regular basis and get my mammogram, then these are some of the things that you
Mhm.
need to think about.
But let's start with the yes. Healthcare. The chance that you leave the US and you go to a place where healthcare is less accessible and more expensive is very rare. It's very rare that you have anyone say, like, I was living in this place, but I had to leave because of healthcare. Like our friend Eve from Disabled Diva was planning on going to the islands in Belize, but they don't have a hospital. They have a clinic, and then you got to take a boat or a plane to the mainland to get to the hospital, which may not be that good to begin with. Now, right there in her name, Disabled Diva, she got a whole host of health problems that don't work for that, right?
Right.
But she has been thriving outside of the US, in Paris, in Thailand, in some other countries, in Bali, all around the world, in other countries, right?
Yeah.
Belize would have been less expensive. It would not have been more accessible simply because of the physical locations, the
Logistics.
geography.
Right.
Um, but she's found other places that almost every other place, almost every other place has been better for her than being in the US.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
All I know is when I didn't have insurance, for the little period I didn't have insurance in the US, it had expired and I had the mammogram maybe the next day.
Mhm.
$500. $500 for, to get a test to prevent something that would cost so much more.
But
Here,
yeah.
without insurance, 135
Mhm.
euro.
But if you get cancer, then you get to spend more money.
Ta-da!
More money, more money, more money.
Right, right, right. And
Yeah.
here, if someone were to get cancer, we have the public system. We have
Mhm.
the public system, and and you will walk out maybe paying $10 per session or 10 euro per
Mhm.
session. And I always have to caveat this: do not think of MLK Hospital when you think of public hospital
Mhm.
in other parts of the world.
Mhm.
Don't think of the
Right.
most underfunded hospital that's in your city, right? Which is usually the MLK in the hood
Mhm.
when you think of public health care. That's what they would like you to think. That's what Big Pharma would like you to think. Meanwhile, we've got the same machines taking the same drugs that they take in the United States for a tenth the cost.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now, in some countries, that private hospital is going to be the MLK. Out here in Mexico City,
The
the
public.
public hospital, you're not going to want to be in the public hospital. But the privates are lovely,
Yeah.
gorgeous, and less than you'll pay, less than your deductible in the US, less than your copay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Same here. Same here. I've heard of a couple of public hospitals here that were kind of dark and depressing,
Mm-hmm.
but it is what it is. But it's not going to be, rats running around and crazy stuff
No.
like that.
No.
Especially not in Western Europe where they have universal health care, true universal health care. All right, let's get to, oh wait, any other questions? And then we'll get to their questions.
I like our list. I'm looking at it. I think we covered it. I think we covered the questions that you want to ask yourself about moving abroad.
Yep. Because my last one was, are you prepared for the cultural differences? But we kind of talked about that when we said, what kind of personality should not consider, right?
Yeah.
Like if being uncomfortable, if looking stupid is not an option for you.
Yeah.
It's okay to look stupid.
Yeah.
With my 1-year-old Portuguese.
It's
Like,
okay.
I can understand the kids. I can understand the babies. That's all.
I cannot understand the babies. Baby, I need you to slow down. Mom, Auntie's got an old brain. Like, what are we? It's real slow. Please stop that. Please stop. What are you doing?
I had a 7-year-old in Mexico talk to me about politics. So I definitely was not on his level, right? Child, I don't know. My answer is I don't know.
If you speak slowly, because I've got the best Spanish tutor in the whole wide world, I do know the political phrases. Anything that I show interest in, she starts creating lessons around that topic or that area.
You're studying Spanish now?
Yeah, because I had already started. I just can't give it up. I've invested too much time and energy.
And you're doing Portuguese?
Mm-hmm.
And your brain isn't mush?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. All right.
Confuso. See? Right. Yeah. But Portuguese is so similar to Spanish. It really, really is. And then when it's not, it's like trade the H for an F and see if that works.
Okay. That's the rule.
Mm-hmm. Yep. With to speak, to do, to make. Yep. Change the H for F. And then if not, I will take a Spanish word and pronounce it in the Portuguese way in a minute.
And hope it worked.
Did that work?
Okay. All right. You know what I hate? I don't know why I'm saying this because someone's going to get very upset. I hate the way Spanish is pronounced in a lot of countries. The way they pronounce Spanish words in Argentina, stop it. I don't know what language. That's not.
Sure.
Stop it. I really, even in Spain, I'm like, like I know it's your language, but you're doing it wrong. Thank you.
You're doing it wrong.
You don't like the list? You don't like the list?
Why are we vosotroing? Like nobody needs that. Nobody.
Oh, that part too.
It's too much.
Yeah.
We don't need it.
Nobody does that anymore. And my Spanish tutor, she's like, look, we're not learning that, and they will understand you in Spain.
Mm-hmm.
So when we went on a tour in Belgium, it was in English and in Spanish, and I could understand. He was Spain Spanish, and I could understand him because I've gotten used to the lisp and hearing it when we get tourists here. But at first, I was like, when I first started hearing it in videos, I was like, oh no. Mm-hmm. Also, the rural parts of, I want to say Peru, they speak kind of, I mean, I hate to say weird because that's not nice sometimes, but look, if other Spanish speakers can't understand you, it's different. Then your accent is strong and live and kicking, right?
Some places they kept their indigenous sound and just speak the Spanish words, but it sounds like they're in their language, what language they used to speak, Maya or Incan or whatever they used, right? So, and you can hear that. For me in Mexico, in some of those small towns in Mexico, I'm like, girl, I don't know, right? Whereas in Costa Rica, they seem to have, I don't know what they did to the local people, right? But in Costa Rica, they sound very they speak the Spanish that I learned, right?
Like a newscaster.
Yeah. So I think some places held on to that indigenous sound. It's like going to the Gullah, right? It's going to a Gullah or Geechee, right?
Mhm.
And it sounds different, but they might be saying some of the same words. I think that's what's happening with Spanish in a lot of places. You hear their old language and Spanish together.
Yeah.
So I knew it was a lot. I just Googled it. There are 291 languages spoken in Mexico. And so I think a lot of those, like the person in a lot of the places, not all of them, a lot of people probably speak their language and Spanish because Spanish is everywhere. And so I'm sure you're right, Stephanie, but a lot of it is like the two languages. It's like Halisi speaking Spanish with her Portuguese accent, right?
Exactly.
Like so you run into someone in one of those towns and it's like, on paper, I think those words I would recognize those words, but when I'm hearing them.
Exactly. Exactly. So Rapper and D, how are you going to transfer those coins? Okay, we're back to the money. When you go through the airport, so we're talking about the gold.
I'm gonna go to the gold man. I'm gonna find Elise's gold man. Find me some gold and go to the gold man when I need the gold converted. I think it's gonna be
okay. So if the gold man says your gold is only worth $3, I'd only buy it from you for like $3 today, and you spent $2,000 on it. What you gonna do?
Hopefully, I can hold on to it. If the bank's crashed anyway, like what else? What am I gonna do?
So what? But what are you gonna do with the gold? Are you gonna trade it for seeds?
So whatever money is worth, right? Wherever money has value, then that's where that money will go, right?
Okay. I guess my thing is like once you have the gold, and I get that if money crashes, it'll be more valuable. The gold will have probably more value than the paper of it is. I've been in countries where like they sell their paper as their money is like tourist trinkets because it has no value.
It's not worth anything.
Zimbabwe is
like
one of those
million,
places.
1 million, million.
Yeah. And you're like, you can have this for $3. And so I get that, but like, what if our money's not worth anything? What am I doing with gold? What am I trading it for? A place to sleep?
Whatever happens to whatever is still worth exchanging. Money is an exchange, right?
Yeah.
Whatever can be exchanged.
Right? And I think the other thing is that we're assuming that the rest of the world will collapse as well, right? Like, and so can you go to a place where they can really exchange it for the value?
Well, the bottom line is who values and devalues gold, diamonds, silver,
the De Beers,
plutonium, whatever. Who values that stuff?
De Beers, because they stockpile it.
I think it's just a matter of if my Vanguard, right? If that money is not money that I can access, right? What do I? And USAA is down, right? If USAA goes down and Vanguard goes down, then this is a thing that I have because I'm not a homeowner. I think maybe homeowners feel a little extra security, because your land is worth something, even if it's worth a whole lot less. Is
a bag of seeds. Yeah.
But is there a law that the United States government can claim your property anytime it wants for emergency situations?
Yes, that's still on the books.
Nobody's.
And that's why we have to vote. And that's why we have to vote, because we can't look. We don't want the zombie apocalypse. All right, let's get to these questions. All right. Oh, not Belgium. Skipping on the Belgian fries. So Belgium supposedly created the French fry.
They invented them. Yes.
Yeah. And they will let you know.
Right. Yes. And so the burgers were with no fries. I just don't be that American. Understand cultural differences and respect them. Yes, Allison. Absolutely.
Can I pause on that real quick?
Yes.
It can be very hard to understand that what you're seeing is a cultural difference, right? And so I think people should give themselves some grace. Like at some point when you're abroad, you're going to be an ugly American. It's just, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not a place where you should try to sit in it, right? But understanding that like what you're dealing with is someone doing something culturally and not just a choice they're making in that moment is not always obvious. And that's why I would say like, yes, it's important to not be that American, but you're going to be at some point. So like,
look,
go with your best intention. Do the best you got.
Go Go ahead, Steph.
In that market in Mexico, in Lake Chapala, the man was saying pasate, pasate. I thought for sure that man was telling me to pass by his store. Don't come in here, pasate. He's telling me to come in. I think he's saying get away from my store. I don't like Black people. Don't come in my store. I promise you, I thought that's what he was saying. Pasate. To me, pasar would be to pass by. Passar is not to pass by, it's to pass through. Okay, right? I messed it up. I thought he was being rude to me. He was not being rude to me. You messed things up. That's part of not having that American armor, right? And being able to be wrong, drop the armor, and be curious, right? All of these things will go together and make your experience better. But yeah, you're gonna mess it up. I thought for sure that man was telling me to get away from his store. He was asking me to come in, buy some stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
When we first got here, I got cussed out by two old folks at different times in the grocery store line.
I thought I was gonna have to catch a case.
See, and I and did my head go to racism? Of course it did. Of course it did, right? And I acted very American. I don't understand what you're saying, sir. Oh yes, I did. Come to find out,
the line for the old people.
You're supposed to let the older people go ahead.
Okay.
This is the cultural thing, and now I know. And I can't remember who told me, but thank God they did. And so now when I hear posu, and I'm like forza, right? Like, okay, go ahead. But yeah, back to the curiosity, right? If you're curious, then you will learn the cultural differences and hopefully respect them.
Yeah.
But if you think you know everything already,
no, you don't. Our old people grocery store thing is that in most of the grocery stores, they have old people bagging groceries, but they're not paid. So you have to tip them. If you don't come from a place where someone bags your groceries, you might not immediately think you need to tip them. You've got to be curious and watch what the person ahead of you is doing, because in the guidebooks of like how to move to Mexico, it probably doesn't say make sure you tip the person bagging your groceries.
No.
Also, it doesn't say make sure. A lot of us are card people. Make sure you have some change, right? Make sure you have some cash so you can tip. Because listen, when I don't have cash, you're not touching nothing. Because I'm not going to be the person. I'm so sorry, I don't have it. So
today,
I got it. I'll do it.
I'll do the labor.
I'll do the labor, because even though I still feel like because you're here, emphasis of a transaction should go. I feel like I should tip you, even though I am doing the labor. I don't have the money, so we're not even don't touch it. It's fine, right?
Yes,
it's fine. But yeah, going to the grocery store with money is something that like you have to know to do with cash.
It's true. It's true. And so we're going to get to the rest of these questions, but first, what we have been talking about is the thought process that you need to move abroad, the personality type that you need to move abroad. There is a summit that is coming up where you can learn all of these things and all of the questions and everything else, and plus some details on how to do certain things, get your money straight, et cetera, et cetera. And it is coming up in a couple of weeks. Oh my God, I can't believe it's already October for 2020.
It's less than a couple of weeks, I think.
Yeah.
Someone earlier wrote the number of days, and I was like, in my live stream, I was like, very rude. I literally don't know the number of days, and it was very inconsiderate of you to tell me the number of days.
So I'm going to put it in the chat, but why don't you two tell us about the summit that you have coming up, and then we will get to the last questions. I know we've got a lot of questions. We're going to answer them. Go ahead.
Exodus Summit is online October 11th to 14th, 2024. Exodus Summit is an annual summit, an annual online conference for Black women to learn how to move abroad, whether the move abroad is for good or for a little while. We bring in speakers who cover the things that you think are roadblocks, the things that you think are reasons why you can't go. So if you sat down and you thought about we said, you should know what the cost of living might be. You should know where your money's going to come from. You need to have an idea of what to do with your stuff. You need to know who's coming with you and what's your plan for them, or who's not coming with you and what's your plan for them. If you're like, man, I don't know any of this, or all of these are reasons I can't move abroad, not true. All of these are reasons you should be at Exodus Summit 2024. All of these are things that speakers are going to help you come up with a plan for inside of Exodus Summit, whether you think your move abroad is soon or in the future, whether you think your move abroad is forever or for a little while. Halisi is dropping the link to Exodus Summit, her link for you to register, because we want you to come. Okay, we want you to come to the summit. We don't want you to count yourself out before you even give yourself an opportunity to get a plan together.
Yeah. And so I just want to piggyback on that, because I missed the first Exodus Summit. I was working. I was crazy and working 70 hours a week, but I made the second one. And so that was in October. We made the decision in December. We gave notice in January. And by May, we were moving. That's all I'm saying.
Yes.
That is the reality. When you get the tools that you need to do this thing, it can happen that quickly. Now, of course, we had done some stuff beforehand. We had gotten out of debt, y'all, and stuff like that. So we had put ourselves in a position, but didn't realize we were already in a position to be able to do this thing. You may already be in a position to do this thing and may not know it. So Exodus Summit, and the link, I pinned it to the top. So I figured I opened it up on my other computer. I pinned it to the top, but it's also in the chat. Go ahead and click on that, open it up in another tab while we continue to watch.
Real quick, since Exodus Summit, you have also started helping people move to Portugal.
Yes.
You started a summit about moving to Portugal.
Thank
you started a successful YouTube channel, and you're welcome.
Yes. Yes. And let me tell you, Krishan and I, we were hitting y'all up, right? We were hitting y'all up. How do you do this thing? What platform do you use? What platform should we use? So our Move to Portugal Virtual Summit is in the first weekend in November. It is nuts and bolts, everything you need. We're going to have healthcare people, immigration people. We got somebody talking about student visas. You don't even need to have a certain amount of money to get here on a student visa. And that person transferred that student visa into a regular residency visa. We're having Black folks from all around the country come on and tell you their experiences, real estate, starting a business, all of the nuts and bolts that you need. That is the Move to Portugal Virtual Summit, the first weekend in November. And if Portugal's not your place, then it's the Exodus Summit. It's Exodus Summit no matter what, because one has nothing to do with the other. And they're both so affordable. Y'all, it's affordable. You know.
Yeah, that's right. So let Exodus Summit help you work on a plan, and let the Move to Portugal Summit help you move to Portugal, right? You need
exactly.
Two different pieces. There's some things you need to know that are not only Portugal related, right?
Exactly.
The Summit help you get the plan together. Move to Portugal Summit help you move to Portugal, which is, my favorite place. It's not where I live, but it's my favorite place. Oh, it's so beautiful for no reason. Why is it so beautiful?
I keep telling, for me, there is something magical about Portugal. And I don't know if it's the people. Teddy, don't talk no smack. I know you probably still in the
Teddy's
comments.
been good.
He's been good. Because he lived here quite a while ago, a couple of decades ago. And this is not the Portugal that you lived in. And I just, I don't know. Like I said, when my grocer got back, because Western Europe closes down in August, y'all. It closes down, okay? And my grocer, when he came back, he gave me a hug. I was like, "Welcome back." He gave me a hug and a kiss on both cheeks. He's like, I don't know, 70, so I don't know, And usually he's like,
He's a little grumpy dude, I call him.
But he's not. That's just
no.
He's a sweetheart. He really is. Thank you, Rashida and Stephanie. Your Exodus Summit led me to my coaches, Halisi and Rick. Stephanie, thank you for house sitting. I've done that too, and we'll do my Canje. That's for Mexico in the next 2 weeks.
Oh, that's
wonderful.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Progress.
See, here we go. Testimonial right
Mhm.
there, right there.
Right.
So all of you, y'all,
That's right. Get
you
support.
do not have to live in a country that is not serving you.
Mhm.
You do not. You do not. Yes, it was $25 and it was not Kobe beef. It was just a regular old hamburger without the fries.
Yeah.
I had my feelings hurt. My feelings were hurt. Does anyone right? Does anyone know if one can open a bank account in Mexico on a tourist visa?
I do know. It depends. Ta-da. Okay. So it depends on what city you're in, what bank you go to, and the mood of the person who works in the bank that day.
Okay.
The real answer is not really, but the other answer is sometimes. So yes, it depends. Ta-da.
You can try.
Yeah, and it's getting weird here in Portugal as well. It
Yeah.
really is. So certain banks are like they don't want to open a bank account for any foreigners. No, anybody who's not living here.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. Currency, is it thus better to choose countries that's on the dollar, like Panama? If you don't want to do the mental gymnastics in your head with the currency, perhaps, but I can't do that heat and that humidity, so that's not going to work for me.
I wouldn't make that the top priority, right?
Right.
I wouldn't say I want to move to a country that's on the dollar. I wouldn't make that a priority. I wouldn't,
Right.
not just the top. I wouldn't make that a priority at all.
No, I mean, it's to me, you got needs and wants.
Mhm.
That's a want, right? That's a nice to have. That's not a need to have to me. But
Because listen, Costa Rica is on two currency systems. They use colones and dollars here. It's expensive here. Like things are expensive here. I think maybe if they were on the only on colones, maybe prices wouldn't be so high. Maybe I wouldn't have spent all that money on that mascara I bought in the drugstore, right?
how much was the mascara?
15,000 colones, which is $30 for a Maybelline mascara.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
Some stuff here is ridiculously priced. I don't know how much it has to do with them also using the dollar and how much of it is other things. Everything is imported, I don't know. But I do know that I wouldn't make that a priority. I wouldn't. You can learn a new currency and you can navigate.
Yeah, it hasn't been hard for us. And and here's the other thing, Yoga Bliss. When you live in a place, you get to find out where you can get your mascara
Right.
for less money.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So I go to the Asian stores.
Yeah.
And I'm not being like that. Everybody calls them the Asian stores. Sometimes they say Chinese store
Or bizarre.
or bazaar, right? Economical. We've got our version of the dollar stores, but they're not a chain. It's some mom and pop that put the dollar store up there, Asian store.
And they
right?
got everything. In it.
Everything.
You can get a car. No, I'm
No, you
joking.
can't. But okay.
Oh.
Okay, so we answered that question. I'm so glad I funded my Portuguese bank account when I did. I keep funding it, but I don't know when I will be able to get there. Been trying for 18 months. Housing difficulties. Let's talk Pinky offline. I'm not sure. You mean housing difficulties in the States, trying to sell your house or something, or rent your house, or housing difficulties here? Because you're not talking to the right people if if you've been trying for 18 months. Okay. So let's talk. So I showed you that. If you all did not have businesses, would you still maintain a schedule or calendar?
For flights, right? Like I still need to know
Yeah.
when to go on the plane, when to show up at the airport or the train station. Everything. I mean,
Everything's
going
on my
out to meet
calendar.
friends, everything's on my calendar. Going out to meet friends.
Yeah.
Like I said, phone call with my best friend.
Yep.
But when would I actually have to know? But it is like need to know for my well-being what the date or time is.
Yeah. Sometimes I don't know what day it is.
No.
I forget, but I check my calendar first thing. I check my calendar before I go to bed, so I know if I can sleep late. Right. And then I've forgotten by the next day. So then I look at it again. I mean, if I'm meeting, Tawana for chocolate and champagne is going to be on the
It's going to be on
calendar.
the calendar. Every time we
My
meet different
massage is going to
friends,
be on the
yeah.
calendar,
Mhm.
right? When the housekeeper comes is on the calendar.
That's right. Yeah, I like to have a calendar, even if I wasn't working. I think I would still keep things there. Like I said, I'm past trying to remember things. That's brain power I don't want to use. So yeah, I think so. You're right. You need to know, like saying
Mhm.
massage on the calendar is that's the point. The things that you want are on the calendar. Some
Mhm.
people may have a negative connotation of keeping a calendar because right now your calendar is full of stuff you didn't put on there. You don't want but when your
Mhm.
calendar is full of stuff that you're excited about, it's
Yeah.
nice to have it. It's nice to not have to remember things.
Yeah.
Right.
When I get my hair cut, everything is on the calendar.
Yeah.
On the calendar, and I've got to get it cut often. And it's so cute because my barber, he's Brazilian, and he's in his English class, right? I don't know why he's learning English. Well, he already knows Portuguese, so he's learning English. And he pulls out, here I come. He goes to his locker and gets his notebook because he's gonna practice his English on me.
Nice.
Okay.
I was like,
Nice.
okay, but I'm gonna speak to you in Portuguese.
Yeah. You both learn.
Mhm.
How do you yeah, he's a sweetheart. How do you transition nothingness, a la no job, no commitments, or no appointments without stress? I, I think you mean how do you transition into nothingness?
Yeah.
We need to have Alex and Jerry back on the show because they retired with them nice pensions.
Mm.
So they're not trying to do a side hustle or
No.
anything. And let me tell you, we have to call and make appointments to get on their social calendar.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because you can stay busy socializing
Mhm.
in Lisbon.
Oh yeah, very very easy, like a full time job for real.
Seriously,
My
seriously,
mom in Merida is always outside.
right? Where you at?
Always outside, always doing something, always with her girls. We're at the pool, we're at the hotel pool doing this. We're at the restaurant. Do you have a home? You don't have a home. You
Yeah.
don't use it? Girl, you don't. No, a lot of people. Okay, so I think there's two things I want to say here. One, nothingness takes effort, right?
Mhm.
You've got to do a whole bunch of unlearning to get into the like, I don't have to do anything today. I can lay on the couch all day and I don't feel guilty about it. That takes a lot of
That part.
unlearning, a lot of time, and you shouldn't rush yourself, right? Or you can't, but like there's no point. Don't cause yourself stress trying to get to the nothingness.
Right.
But
Right.
also, not having a job doesn't mean you don't have anything to do. A lot of people find things. A lot of sometimes it's social, sometimes it's hobbies. Um, yeah, but
Like
most
I'm
people
taking Spanish
for
just because,
for the reasons.
right?
Okay.
Just because I can.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can, right? Um, I want to start taking ballroom dance lessons. I want to start sewing again.
Mm-hmm.
All of these things. I just have to find a studio that has a price that I like. But there's time to do the things that you say, gosh, one of these days I sure would like to.
But it's what you want to do. It's not what somebody else wants for you.
That's
Exactly.
that's right.
Exactly.
Are you going to take the ballroom dancing lessons with her, Rick?
Of course.
Oh.
All right.
He knows what time it is.
So with that face you make it, yes, he will.
No, yeah, definitely. I look forward to it.
Okay.
So, it's on my vision board,
Mm-hmm.
like
Okay.
tango. Will your mom ever visit you in Portugal? So you must be talking to me. No,
No, she ain't. She
no,
ain't visiting
she
us.
ain't visiting. Gloria Benson's not getting on no plane for 20 something hours or
Across the
whatever.
Atlantic Ocean.
Oh,
No,
no, no,
she
no,
ain't
no, no, no,
flying
no.
over
Um, okay. I would like to know how to fund a bank account without a local address. I thought I needed the local address in order to get the name. Okay, so this is a very Portugal. So CK, you come into the summit, baby. You come into the summit. Am I wrong? You do need a NIF in advance, yes, which is a tax ID number. And you don't need a local address if you sign over a power of attorney and let the attorney be your address. All right, so that's how you do that. And I don't know how you DIY it. I don't know. When we were here, we opened a bank account and they just mailed our ATM cards back to the bank. And then we went up there in a couple of days and picked them up. I'm not sure, but we were on the other side of the river where there's less tourists, less foreigners, and all of that stuff. So maybe that's the way to go, is to go to a place where there's less immigrants.
Yeah, immigrants going.
Exactly. Oh, look who's in the chat.
Gene, my little big brother, talking trash. Look at him.
He's been there for a while. He started a while ago. He didn't QQ it, but he's been there for a while. I saw him pop in. Hey, Gene.
Gene crazy.
Have your wife for us?
He's my little big brother. He's crazy. He's still talking about the Book of Clarence.
Okay. So when we spent the weekend with them, we watched this stupid movie. I've got the blackmail picture of Rick, Gene, and Andrea sleep.
Mouth hanging open.
I'm like, can we turn this madness off? This is the stupidest movie I've ever seen. And he was saying it. And so then Angela and Lamar took him seriously and they watched it on the plane ride going back to Mexico. And they're like, okay, you are canceled. You do not get to suggest another movie ever.
Love you, Gene.
So y'all, these are new friends that we have made who are out here in these streets, international streets. And I'm telling you, like-minded folks who are sweethearts, who have invited us into their home, etc. I feel so amazingly blessed to have friends that I now consider family. I really, really do.
Friends that you invite to parties and events and things.
See, why you have to go there?
See, you see how Stephanie stays quiet because she feels I do the dirty work and she just nods silently.
Okay, so what happened was y'all were just here in May.
Uh-huh.
So I didn't think
you had your birthday party then.
Oh,
you
could
have had your birthday party then.
I could have. Okay, so you got a real estate person now. Okay, if they're not working for you, let us know. Send us a text, and we've got some folks down in the description who should be able to help you out and who will make you a priority so that you don't have to. Because these real estate agents, they're not trying to make that money. They're so not American.
They got a whole life to live. Your real estate agent has a whole life to live. Okay, real estate is a little sliver of that life.
Yeah,
they are not pressed.
Your plumber is showing up when they want to.
Right. And Pinky, let me tell you, you don't have to have a real estate license to call yourself a real estate agent here.
Nope.
So make sure you have a licensed real estate agent. So that's number one. But yeah, and most of them only do it part-time. So we have moved here and been here for 2 months. And then one of the agents called me from July talking about, are you still looking for a place? Baby.
I still get emails.
Baby. Are we out? Like, it's too late for all that. What? Somebody send Stephanie some Maybelline mascara.
Some stuff is priced high, but okay. Some stuff is ridiculous. And I don't know how they decide. Like, how do you decide that the lipstick is regular price, but the mascara is extra exorbitantly priced? I don't know. I don't get it.
I try not to buy American brands. And I usually pay less for not buying American brands. And then when people go back to the States, I do an Amazon run and I just have stuff shipped to their house. So I had 3 things of my favorite mascara. Yes, I did. What cities should one visit when going to Portugal? Lisbon, Porto. I mean, you F Doctor. First of all, I haven't seen you in a while. Welcome back. The question you need to ask is, what do you want your life to look like? Right? Because Lisbon and Porto are very different cities. They're both cities, but Porto is a lot more laid back. It's smaller, right? I don't know that it's necessarily less diverse. I wouldn't say that. It's hillier. And there are less of the English-speaking Black folks to make it a softer landing, but they're there. And we will have people at the summit who live in Porto to speak on it.
Porto's a
So
pretty
I
place.
think it's beautiful. It's beautiful. So I think you need to think about what you want your life to look like. And the reason why I say that is like we've got some friends who've like moved to the beach town and then find themselves every day back in the city. So now they're jumping on the train. It's not costing them anymore because we've got our cards, right? And you're over 65, it's only 20 euro. So it's not costing them anything but time. And so they figured out, like, with their lifestyle, they should actually be living in the city. They don't need to be out there in the beach towns because their behind's always here. And then they're trying to get home before the metro stops working and, and all of that. So what do you want your life to look like?
Yeah.
But visit them both.
Significant difference in temperature in the winter time, though. I don't know if the summertime, the temperature probably stays about the same because they're not all that far apart. But Porto does get colder.
It gets colder in the winter, yeah.
Cold
Yes,
weather.
that part too. Yep.
Colder and rainier.
Yes, we did add beneficiaries to our bank account here, Lena. Okay. There's Teddy.
Love you too, Teddy.
Teddy be trying to keep us on point. I heard on a video that Rashida coined the phrase FlexPat. What is it? What does it look like?
Curious about what video you heard that on, because I have never said that. I've never said I coined that phrase ever in my life. And so
but have you used it though?
Maybe.
Oh.
Not enough, but I mean, we talk about moving abroad generally being like a thing you do and then it's done. And there's a lot more flexibility around that where you can move for a while, move back, maybe do it again, right? Stephanie talked to people yesterday on her live stream that had moved multiple times or moved to multiple places. And so when I hear the term FlexPat, that's what I think of, is that you're open. Like when I went to my career break, I said, in my brain, don't judge me, this is my baby brain. I told myself that if I had to come back to the US in a year, that would be failure, right? And I think a lot of people in their move abroad, define failure as moving back home. It's not a failure. Like my dad died. What was I going to do? Not go to the funeral because I didn't want to fail, right? Like life happened. Life is going to happen to all of us. And so being open to knowing that your move, even if you think it's permanent, give yourself the flexibility of it being temporary or it being to a different place than you originally thought is what I think of when I hear FlexPat.
Yeah. A lot of people convince themselves that what they need to do is move to a new place. Some people have never had the freedom to decide where they want to be at any moment. So some people really might want to be nomadic for a while.
Right.
Yeah. Flexibility is important.
Mm-hmm.
It really is.
CK, I see that you say someone attributed to me. I'll take it. I forget things I say all the time, but that's not something I was likely. I know I didn't give myself credit for that, so it must have been somebody else. But yeah, I say things and I forget them. They're on video. Someone knows.
Are you all expats or immigrants?
I am an immigrant that does not mind being called an expat because I think that we over-index on the importance of that language, in the sense that the true distinction is in the definitions about the length of time one plans to stay in a country. As someone with residency, even though it's temporary, I am an immigrant. I've been an immigrant my entire life though, right? Like when I lived in the US, no one called me an expat. I live in Mexico, people call me an expat. I've always been an immigrant. I think that there's a lot of inequity in this world, and that is reflective of it. But I think there's better things to argue about than the usage of those two words, or better things to spend time on. I'm not arguing with anybody about anything, but better things to spend time on than whether you're one or the other.
What happened to your British accent?
I was 2 when I left the country, so
cheerio.
That'll do it. That'll do it.
Yeah,
because I talk on my YouTube channel to American people who want to leave. I think it makes sense to use the term expat because we're talking about expatriating. We're talking about leaving. But I think if I were talking to people in Costa Rica, once I'm a legal resident of Costa Rica, I'm still a tourist right now, but once I'm a resident of Costa Rica, it would make sense for me to, in those places, I am an immigrant to Costa Rica. You're an expat from a place and you're an immigrant to a place.
Right.
I think that makes sense. And I think that's for anybody.
Yeah.
And whatever, but you can say whatever.
That's how I look at it. People, they all up in our comments. Why you say black expat? I said, because no one's searching for black immigrant.
Mm-hmm.
That's why.
Mm-hmm.
That's why. I just read about new requirements for entering and leaving Europe under the entry-exit system. Yes, starting in November. Yes, details on official EU website. Yep. This is not ETIS. Yeah. It's a little thing. It's just an administrative thing, and €15 for, and it lasts what? You remember? Like
is
5
it 15
years?
euro? Yeah, for 3 or 5 years.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
So no big deal. It's not like you have to go through a bunch of rigmarole to see if you can visit it. For Americans anyway, it's pretty much automatic. Halisi, give us an example of your Portuguese and Spanish. Why are you gonna call me out like that? You follow Portugal. There you go. I think we did it. Folks. I'm not seeing any other questions. Again, y'all, now is the time. I'm just going to say 2 things. Vote and then leave the country if it is not serving you. Which, if you are Black, I can't see how you would say America is serving you, because we know what the deal is. I mean, right now, look, they're eating the dogs, right? They're eating the cats.
They're eating the pets of the people.
These people. So I've been convinced that white people in America are some of the worst people, but man, they always just want to go out of their way to be the worst, the extra worst.
I mean, what do you say? And the thing about it is see, obviously I'm not Haitian. Yeah, no, I don't think any bloodlines came through Haiti, but Black folks are Black folks. They're not like the Proud Boys are not going to be distinguishing.
No.
Right. And so a curse against my Haitian brothers and sisters is a curse against me, as far as I'm concerned.
That's right.
I struggled a lot seeing Black people make jokes about it, because when the violence increases against Haitians, it's going to be violence against Black people.
Yeah.
So like you're laughing at the beginning of violence against yourself. Right.
Exactly.
And I'm like,
no, it's funny. It's only funny because it's so crazy, right? Like it's not a funny situation.
It's crazy, but we live in a place that like, who has checked the crazy? Who, you know what I mean? Like, who has denounced this particular crazy?
That's right. It's in charge. Crazy is in charge.
Crazy.
Those people, there's not a whole lot of hope for them people. There's not a whole lot of hope for them people, right? If your plan is to just stick around and wait for American white people to be better people, you need a new plan. Right? That's not. It's never going to happen. You need to.
I will never say never.
Okay.
But I can't see it happening in my lifetime. I do, right? Mm-hmm. I know people can change. But I am not convinced that right now they see a need to.
Mm-mm.
Right? Mm-mm. Right. So people usually only change when they think their life will improve by doing the change. Right. And they're not convinced of that yet. So that's not all white folks, of course. But we know who we talk about. So y'all, Exodus Summit is that Indigenous Day weekend?
It is.
So, okay. What was formerly Columbus Day. So Indigenous Day weekend, the link is pinned at the top. It is also in the description below. If you're watching from the future, hey, It's in the description below. So you don't have to wait for the chat to come up, because people will be watching like 2 seconds after we stop a live stream. Also, the Move to Portugal Virtual Summit is in the description below. I also put that in the chat. Y'all, if you still have questions or you need personal one-on-one help, like hold my hand to make the plan, we do coaching calls. That information is in the description below, right? And we will hold your hand if you can't wait. And I remember that feeling. Y'all were on vacation. I think Rashida was in the South Pole or someplace. And I have made the decision and I need some answers now. And she's on vacation and Stephanie says she don't check her email. I was panicking and trying to DIY it.
So I'd say, Chris, you need to do a coaching call.
Who, our son?
Our son.
Well, he wasn't showing up for the finance calls.
He need to do a coaching call.
Y'all called him out like that. Okay.
I call all our kids. All our kids get called out. They all get called out.
He's stuck working 2 jobs. It's like, why?
Yeah. Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah. In Arizona. Yeah. No.
We don't have to live like that.
We do not have to live like that.
There's other deserts. There's other
to go to, right? And our granddaughters should not have to live like that.
No.
Come on now. They need to see.
Wait, how old is she? How's your granddaughter?
Which one?
Which one? we've got like 14. So he's got 2. He's got 2. Chris,
y'all in here lying? 14?
Wow.
Well, I include our nieces and nephews in that too.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Because they're young enough that to be the same age as the grandkids.
But Chris's kids are like school age, elementary school age kids.
Absolutely.
No, I'd say in junior high.
Junior high, but the youngest one
high
is still
school. No, she's junior high.
No. Wait, dang! Time passes fast.
Time flies. Time is a flat circle.
It really is. It really is. Because I was looking.
She looks like she's junior high.
So he should know that. He should know that. But we're not good grandparents. We're not. We out of Dodge. It's like, you know what? Call us if you want to figure out how to move abroad. If you want to get your money straight, babies, we'll help you out. Anyway, all right, loves. We love you. We're gonna let you go. You know what time it is. You know what you need to do, and we will see you next Sunday. Ciao, ciao.
Thanks so much for having us on, friends. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.